What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Press Box. We got a really dope show today. First thing I want to do is obviously shout out those GOAT members, Cobra, Son of Radix, Comatose, and the Clutch, and the Legends segment. If you want to be a part of Players Choice community, all the information you need is below. Also, just to get y'all excited, we are just a few weeks out from the Deck the Halls event here at Players Choice. Ticket versus Chill, December 23rd. Gonna be a crazy matchup. And then Dub versus Mars. This is gonna be crazy. Make sure y'all get tapped in, turn those notifications on, leave a like, leave a sub, and let's get into it. I'm joined here with Riddell, Michael, Jalen, Trent, Lonnie, Random, and for the first time, Drew from Pick a Side Podcast. Welcome to the show, Drew. Appreciate y'all. Manny's over here as well. Bama's gonna be in here. So for today, outside of Drew, whoever I feel is on the wackest takes, I gotta sub you out for Bama because he is the host. So outside of Drew being a special guest, y'all know how the ranking system works, fellas. Everything you do today is being accounted for. Drew, if you don't know, there are debater rankings here at the Press Box. So these guys get judged by a council based off how they perform. And with that being said, let's get into our first topic of the day. Has DeMecoRyans taken firm grasp of the Coach of the Year award? After this victory over the Broncos, the Houston Texans are officially 7-5 on the season. One of the biggest surprises of the year. Who wants to take the floor with this one? Random.
I still think it's Dan Campbell. I understand that DeMecoRyans has probably the better narrative. Obviously, you got CJ Stroud having the greatest rookie quarterback season of all time. But the Detroit Lions, obviously clearly winning their division, might have an outside chance of finishing number one in the NFC. And plus, like I mentioned it a couple weeks ago, the Detroit Lions have not been this good since segregation, and that has to be accounted for. That they're literally this good. And I don't know how you if it all works out the way at least it looks like, and if they win the division, they're the number one in the NFC, and you don't give them the Coach of the Year award. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, and on top of that, they have the narrative. I would argue Dan Campbell's narrative is bigger than DeMecoRyans. Now, the Texans not expected to be good. CJ Stroud going crazy for sure. But leading into this season, everybody was talking about Dan Campbell. Everybody was talking about the Detroit Lions and what they about to do. They got Hard Knocks, man. The conversation around Dan Campbell was already there. The story around Dan Campbell was already there. They just had to execute. And whatever they've been doing, they've been executing. So on top of it all, I would argue the narrative behind Dan Campbell, especially national wide, people know who he is. People like his charisma, and the Detroit Lions are winning. Yeah, I would go Dan Campbell.
But what did you not?
Go ahead, Trent.
But what did you not say about the narrative that DeMecoRyans' narrative might be better because nobody thought the Texans would be 7-5 right now?
Yeah.
Everybody was hyping up the Lions coming into this season, knowing that
nobody was saying they're going to be number one in the conference.
Nobody ever thought that the Texans.
The NFC was whack. The NFC was whack. There was definitely some expectations that the Lions could finish top of the NFC.
And then also,
I want to see you saying this then.
Yeah, Random, who did you think was going to win their division?
Why y'all interrupting? Trent, thank you.
To answer the question, though, J-Rob, I don't know if he has like a clear cut like coach of the year because there is a team in that same division who's also second in the coach with Shane Steichen. And they've been doing it without AR-15, which Gardner Minshew, and they got the same record. So to me, I think the coach of the year is between them two because again, people already had these expectations on Dan Campbell and the Lions. So I think he doesn't win it, even though the first time they've had this record since 1962. But I think the head of the race for the coach of the year to me is Shane Steichen and DeMecoRyans. So I can't say it's clear cut though. I'm not gonna lie. I can't say it's clear.
Go, Lonnie.
Yeah, like we all thought that they were probably going to be a bottom 5 team this year. No one was talking about DeMecoRyans. A lot of people were saying like, "Yo, this is probably a bad job to have off of like the Deshaun Watson mess coming into this league." So like, no one was giving DeMecoRyans any type of praise. We've been glazing Dan Campbell since last year when they been when they kind of like let us down at the end. They kind of let us down at the end of the year last year. So we are all hyping them up. So they had the hype, but someone coming up from like nothing, rookie quarterback, their best receiver is also a rookie. Will Anderson's been balling. So like we see like the immediate impact from they're probably gonna be a bottom 5 team to they're probably gonna win their division. So I feel like it's a clear cut DeMecoRyans.
I like it, Sexy Red. Drew, I know you were saying something. Go ahead, get your point across too.
So when it comes to Coach of the Year, I think it's a 2-man race right now. You mentioned it. It's going to be between DeMeco and it's going to be between Shane Steichen. When it comes to Dan Campbell, I mean, there's no better narrative to me than you're on a rookie quarterback. You're going and you're now competing for the division. When coming into the season, we had you winning 4 or 5 games, maybe at most. And then you look at the Indianapolis Colts. They lost their rookie quarterback, who was playing relatively well. And then you go to a career backup in a Gardner Minshew, and now your offense is top half of the league. To me, that's a little bit more impressive, especially because we know what DeMeco's strengths are. He's a defensive-minded head coach. And that defense where they balled out against my Denver Broncos, we haven't seen it be consistent for the entirety of the season. To me, I got to go Shane Steichen. I mean, what he's been able to do with the situation given to him in such a short amount of time, that's my Coach of the Year, no doubt.
Go ahead, Michael.
To me, good points from everyone here. I'm going to make it quick. I think the question itself, has he put himself ahead? Does he have a firm grasp? No, because to me, they're still 7-5. Dan Campbell, as Random has said, led the Lions to an 8-3. What is it? 9-3 now. The Colts head coach, 100% for me, has to get consideration. I see the way they played against teams like the Ravens. That was just like an incredible complimentary team football game. So I think all those 3 coaches for me are in the top 3. I think the next 5 games is a big decider because, look, I think Dan Campbell really has a good case right now. Same with the Colts head coach. The problem is they have to finish well. If they finish bad, lose, 3 games in the next 5, then, I have to take them out. But all 3 are right there. I don't think any of them have positioned themselves enough for me to say that one of them will be the Coach of the Year.
You think it's a close race still? Go ahead, Riddell.
I think it's a 3-head race, honestly.
Mm-hmm. I like it. Riddell, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
Wait, Riddell, did you go already? Wait, you went already.
I did.
Early,
Let's
go. You did go.
No. Okay, I'm a patient man. I'm a fair man. Go ahead.
You did go. Hold on, I gotta make sure.
Can Wimby go?
Can
Zion go?
No.
Can't be
number 1 around here. LeBron is going. LeBron is talking. Now listen.
Go ahead.
Okay, all right.
Number 1 around here.
Crazy Glaze. Okay.
Go, James. That's why I think the big thing with DeMecoRyans it's not just CJ Stroud that's been, playing amazing. Like Tank Dell coming out of nowhere, Nico Collins coming out of nowhere, Jonathan Greenard having a career season. So he's a coach that's brought out the best of a lot of guys who people just didn't expect. And I think when a Coach of the Year, I think the Coach of the Year a lot of times comes down to how you overperform your expectation. So the coach of the Eagles was never going to win Coach of the Year because, we know they were going to be good. Coach of the night, we know they were going to be good. But when it comes to the Texans, I mean, most people projected to win maybe 2-3 games at most. This is a team that might win 10 games. So I think it's DeMecoRyans. I don't even think it's close.
Go ahead.
You can't
Manny,
say that.
And then early you finish it off.
Yeah.
All right.
I think what the Lions are doing is very good, what they did last year to keep it pushing. But I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I think DeMecoRyans right now is the Coach of the Year. For you to have that type of talent that people didn't expect, and for them to come around you as a coach, bro, they play for him, bro. You could tell that team rallies behind him, bro. Mm-hmm. They rally behind him and they rally behind that quarterback. And you seen, they lost their best receiver, bro. They lost Tank in that game. The whole team went over there. They seen him get carted off the field, and what? He brings them all around, and what happens? They come down, they get a stop at the end of the game to beat the Broncos, bro. That's coaching.
Shout out Nico Collins.
So I got DeMecoRyans.
I think you guys are really sleeping on what Dan Campbell has done.
Wait,
early.
Wait, hold on. I want early. Finish. Go ahead. What do you think there?
Dang, man. That is crazy. All right.
You number 1, best for last, right?
You're number 1 to go last. Anyway.
It's best for last, I thought, though.
You was late. What are we talking about?
You was late.
Relax.
Hey, remember you was late. You know that. Remember what we said in the criteria, man. You was late.
I
You
was
want
here
to
the
have
whole
a
time.
drink.
Y'all so petty.
You got Doritos around your beard and whatnot. Come
Man,
on.
we good. We good. Listen, here's the thing. I still think that Dan Campbell is the front runner, just because of what he did in Detroit. But with your boy going down, Mr. T Law, I think that if this Texas team, because they still got a chance to win a division, don't they?
Yeah.
They
got to win more games, and I don't know who has the tiebreaker because they split, but they definitely have to win.
I think they go by who won by a bigger margin, right?
Yeah, well, for me,
point differential, I think.
Yes,
I think that if they can win that division, then you almost got to give it to DeMecoRyans, especially the way CJ Stroud, because it just with no expectations for that team. And I do believe that if they can win that division, and with T-Law going down, which is very true because they don't have no backup quarterback, I think you might have to give it to DeMecoRyans. But for right now, my front runner is Dan Campbell all day long.
I do want to say this, though, when it comes down to it, because I think y'all are making good points when it comes to the better narrative between DeMeco and Dan. My thing is, I think Dan Campbell has the bigger narrative. I think he will attract more attention because of who he is and what they started the season as with the whole, publicity around the Lions. But my personal favorite narrative, and I'm not just saying this because Drew's on here, Sean Payton, what he did with the Denver Broncos. Hold on. Let's be very clear. The Denver Broncos, yes, they lost to the Texans, but what he did with Russell Wilson and the whole media attention at the beginning of the season with the Denver Broncos, the expectation the Denver Broncos were going to suck. They started out 1-4, they lost 70-20, and then they just started winning.
That's why he's not going to win
after winning.
Drew, you don't get blown out by 50 and win the coach of the year.
But if you make the playoffs, if the Denver Broncos legitimately make the playoffs, how can you not say what Sean
Riddell? I'm gonna be honest with you, Drew. I'm gonna break it to you. I gotta intervene. I gotta intervene on both of y'all.
Thank you, J-Rob.
I gotta intervene because oh my goodness, no way did you just do that. That was ridiculous. First of all, what they're doing, winning, what they're doing, that was the expectation.
Facts.
That's why you went and got Russell Wilson. When you went and got Russell Wilson, the expectation was to turn this thing around. You hadn't been good.
That was 2 seasons ago.
Since Peyton Manning.
It still doesn't matter.
I started off the year getting 70 clipped by the Dolphins. One of the most embarrassing losses in NFL history.
I think it's the.
Might be the most.
They just decided not to break the record on you. That's all they did.
By a guy you thought was too nerdy to coach for you. So
definitely the most embarrassing.
That was an L. That was an L.
It was terrible. I agree.
On top of that, them winning a string of games. Granted, it was a good. They beat the Chiefs. Awesome.
Beat the Bills.
They beat the Bills. Congratulations. 2 good wins. But that was the expectation. We should not be glorifying what you were supposed to do. And on top of that, Sean Payton's arrogant mug to come out there thinking he was going to turn that thing around year 1 and started the year looking like a fraud. I'm glad he's finally saving face. But to sit here and think that man has a better narrative over the Houston
first 3
Texans, who we believe are going to probably have the number 2 pick in this year's draft, let alone think they were going to be winning the division.
Marvin Harrison's going to be
give me a break. And I'm sorry if Sean Payton's your guy, Drew, but I gotta keep it 55th Street. It is what it is, bro.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, Sean Payton right now has no case. He doesn't even have a case to be over Shane Steichen. Because we talked about the I think we don't really understand what the Colts are doing because the Colts are second, the Texans are third. Like,
but I think
a lot of talk about Dan Campbell, a lot of talk about DeMeco, not enough love to Shane and what he's doing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we're not really talking about what Shane Steichen is doing with Gardner Minshew now.
I'm not mad at it.
I understand, but
the quarterback that they took at top 5, he got out for the season, and bro, they're still managing to win games in the 7-5-7. What's the name of the division?
We
a defense. They already had good people.
But this is what I'm saying though. When you talk about the Lions versus Texas versus the Colts, with the difference between the Lions and versus all the teams I just said, they already had expectations to go to the playoffs. They had expectations to win games. Everybody thought this year the AFC South was going to be ass. Let's keep it a buck.
Right.
No.
Everybody thought this was
Agreed.
gonna happen.
Everybody thought the Jaguars were going to run through the conference.
Okay, I understand that.
Everybody thought that division gonna be whack. So
Trent,
with
I
that being
understand
said,
that, but we can't sit there and look at what Dan Campbell has done.
Especially with the Colts, is you losing your star quarterback and still winning games with your backup. You're second in the division, bro. They don't.
And the strength of schedule.
Between DeMeco and Shane, those are the coach of the years, bro.
Guys, we can't just sit there and look at what Dan Campbell has done over the past 2 years. Legitimately revitalize
it's a year-by-year
award. Made the playoffs.
Yeah,
I understand they almost made the playoffs last year. Nobody. I understand that they were expected to win the. I understand they were expected to make the playoffs. We're talking about them getting the number 1 seed here. The number 1 seed. They're right there.
Random. Whose fault was it that they didn't make it last year? Wasn't it win and get in?
They walked into Lambeau. They walked into Lambeau last year and won the game.
They did win. They did win.
A moral victory.
Come on, again, like
also, random. Besides the Broncos,
that Ravens loss was one of the worst losses of the year. As good as they were last year, and this year they've completely went above and beyond their expectations.
Jared Goff.
Time out, y'all. I'm about to have to back out the whistle. Random, finish your point. Go ahead.
Okay, you're telling me obviously they clearly were expected to make the playoffs, but they've dominated their division. Okay, they've dominated their division. They're fighting for the number 1 seed. You can say whatever you want. At no point were any of us on here, whether it's Drew or J-Rob or anybody else, was saying the Lions had a chance to be the number 1 seed. None of us said that. That's the biggest point. They legitimately, Detroit since 1962 has never had a bye in Michigan with the Lions. That's what the Lions could possibly have. Say that, hey, because what we've done in the regular season, we are the number 1 seed going into the playoffs. How do you just look at that and that coaching job that Dan Campbell has done and say I'm not saying that he's clearly blowing them out, but he should be the front runner right now for what he's done. He should be.
They're able to win. They're able to win games, and that's definitely the most important thing. But you look at the last 3 weeks since this Chargers game, it's really highlighting their biggest weakness, the defense. You almost blew it to the Chicago Bears division game. That's 100% fine. That is what it is. But then going up against the Saints, you almost blow a 3-touchdown lead. This defense genuinely is not good. We're starting to see the Lions slip back into how great they looked at the beginning of the season, one of the best rush defenses, just one of the best offenses in the game. We're seeing Jared Goff, when he's under pressure, look average. They're winning ball games in the grand scheme of things when it comes to coach of the year. That's all that matters. But again, I look at the Lions, and I feel like a team that I was super high on early on. As weeks go on, they're falling out of my rankings. And the conversation for number 1 seed, the Niners, the Eagles, the Cowboys.
Obviously,
these are all 3 teams that are comfortable.
But
they're
we
better
can't
teams,
look. We can't look at the Lions being the number 1 seed.
Random. Don't come on, bro. Let him finish his point.
That's all right. Listen, I
want everybody to be able to get their points across. There's 10 people up here. You understand what I'm saying? It's a lot of us. You good? Finish your point.
I just don't like the fact that we're just discounting that.
I'm not trying to discount him, especially because they are exceeding some people's expectations. Where they're going to end up by the end of the year is around where I was anticipating. They'd win their division, but the Niners were definitely comfortably better. The Eagles are comfortably better, and you have to respect what's going on with Dallas, especially now with Dak playing at an MVP level. It's just the AFC right now. It was definitely the more competitive conference of the two, and 2 teams absolutely nobody thought would even sniff the playoffs, where the Lions had expectations for the playoffs at the minimum. 2 teams in the Colts and the Texans, their coaches have done, or at least exceeded, everybody's expectations for them, which is why I feel like when it comes to narrative, which is some of your guys' main point, it goes to those coaches over there in the South.
Go ahead,
Nico has narrative too, in the same way that Dan Campbell does. And maybe it's not as crazy with the narrative because the Lions have been so bad. But Houston has shown to be dysfunctional. They also were really bad last season. They've been bad in the years prior. I think one more thing I'd like to add to is, I'm not even necessarily mad at people saying that Dan Campbell's a front runner. I think that he is a great case. I think I would put DeMeco over him because of strength of schedule mainly. But here's what I want to say, though. The next 5 games for the Lions and Dan Campbell's head coaching case, it's almost like the Dak Prescott MVP. It's massive. If you go in and you don't at least go 500 and your team doesn't look good, if they have games like this, that's going to knock him. Let's just keep it 100% real. That's the one point I want to make. That's why I don't think that he is has a firm grasp of it. He might technically be the front runner right now, but I don't think he still has a firm grasp because the 5 games coming up are important.
I will say this: the only biggest problem about the Lions and why he might not get it is it seems like every time they play a team that's worth a damn, they get blown out or it's just not a good game. So, other than the Chiefs this year, but again, I fault that wide receiver core. So I don't really.
That's fraudulent.
That's a blood win. But honestly, the Ravens and when they go against
he's
good
just mad
teams,
because that's his
man,
team.
Smoked by the Packers too.
Oh yeah, the Packers on prime time. That was
Smoked
a bad
them.
game.
Oh,
Man,
okay, so they get at.
But here's the thing though. Again, go back random. The coach of the year is it's a lot of them are on expectations. Why do you think Brian Daboll won the coach of the year last year? Nobody thought the Giants were going to win 9 games last year. Everybody was thinking we was going to be back in the top 5, getting 3 wins, and then he overexceeded and got 9 wins, and then they won it. It's the same thing with Shane Steichen and DeMecoRyans. They found a way to win out or get 9 wins, get 10 wins. That one of them coaches, one of them coach of the years is at their crib. You have to put in the fact that expectations hold a lot because again, after we saw the back half of the Lions season, everybody's saying, "Yo, next year the Lions might be a problem." And look at them now; they're one of the best teams in the league. One of the top.
I got a genuine question.
Lions, nobody had no expectations. A lot of people was not high on AR-15 at all coming out of college. Everybody thought that the Colts were just besides you, J-Rob, of course. Well, of course, I give you the props. Everybody thought.
Hey, listen. There's a clip out there of me saying he was going top 5, and everybody laughed at me. And he
I'm saying I wanted him over Bryce Young.
You want everybody over Bryce Young.
People thought the Colts was going to be another lottery pick. Everybody thought CJ Stroud was going to struggle because of how the Texas organization has been. So, bro, you have to put in the fact that expectations come a lot of way in these coach of the years. So that's the case then. Yeah, I'm sorry. Dan Campbell, you doing your thing right now. The Lions haven't been doing it in years, but you're not coaching.
Go ahead.
No, they're right. Decades, bro. Decades. Go ahead. Don't discount that.
Still, though, bro. No cap.
Go ahead, Jalen.
Yeah, I think the separator here between the coaches of the year, I understand the other 2 teams are winning. I think is player development. Guys like Jared Goff is a known entity. We knew he's capable of having a good season, which he is. I think a guy, Jonathan Taylor, again, a known entity, a great running back who once he came back, doing his thing. And again, Minshew, again, not a good quarterback by any means, but I think a relatively decent backup quarterback for any team. You know what he is. When it came to the Texans, we didn't know who these guys were. And under this coach, he made all these players look amazing. Again, whether it's Tank Dell, Nico Collins, CJ Stroud. So I think that's the separator is that the development, 1, it's sexier, the narrative is there. And 2, I just think it's more impressive when you can take guys who I didn't know really much about being someone who doesn't follow logic football, and suddenly these guys are the talk of the town. And these guys are it thing. And in terms of the Detroit Lions winning their division and leading their division, I get it. But I mean, if you look at their division, once Kirk Cousins got hurt, do we expect another team to do it?
We understand they're winning the division back then too.
Hold on. The Bears, we understand. We understand who the Bears are. Not putting Justin Fields in the right situation. No one expects them to win the division. In terms of the Packers, Jordan Love, still a young guy. That team's flawed. No one expects them to win. It was between the Lions and the Vikings. Now, if Kirk Cousins was still healthy and they were playing amazing, then I could see them winning that division, carrying more weight. But with him getting hurt, it's kind of like it was the Lions' division to lose at that point.
I have a genuine question for everybody on the panel. After Dev, I have a question for everybody.
I hear everything you said, Jalen, but I think the Lions, the fact that they are competing for the 1 seed in the NFC, yes, the NFC is weaker this year with the 49ers and the Eagles. And I think Dan Campbell's changing the culture, and this is the best the Lions been since the 50s. I think the narrative and the storyline goes to Dan Campbell's favor. And yes, I think DeMecoRyans and what's his name, Shane Steichen, has been doing an amazing job for their respective teams. In fact, those 2 teams can potentially make the playoffs. But I think with the Lions and how you have to change that culture, find these guys like in Jahmyr Gibbs, get Aiden Hutchinson, and bring that team to a float and potentially be a threat in the NFC. Even though I don't think they're going to be probably losing the second round, but that's why I kind of got him winning Coach of the Year. I think it's kind of set up for him to win Coach of the Year in my opinion. It's kind of like his to lose. I feel like the Texans make the playoffs, then DeMeco might got it.
Yeah, I think we got to stop hanging our hat. We got to start. I think we got to stop hanging our hat on previous years. We got to hang our hat on what's happening this season. I think we're losing sight of that.
I agree, and
we're losing sight of that.
That's crazy.
My question for everybody here, genuine question. From what we've seen, not based on expectation, but from what we've seen from these two teams, Lions and Texans, who do y'all think is the more talented team?
The Lions.
Are we sure about that?
Based on what we've seen,
all around.
All around.
Positive football.
At the same time, like not one of y'all mentioned like how Derek Stingley's been playing this year.
What matters?
I might just take the Texans all around. They've had a worse schedule.
I like
also look
more than Hutchinson's. I like.
Look, Riddell. This is the problem with the Lions. This is why
you said Texans. You said Texans.
I might go Texans. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Texans too. And it's because look, the Lions they have a solid roster. Their O line is actually really good. That's the one position group that moves
elite
me.
O line.
Yeah. But
their running backs are better too.
It doesn't necessarily move me. I just don't feel like.
I think I like the Lions' weapons.
Their receivers are better too.
I was going to say Monroe, Laporta, Gibbs, Montgomery.
Don't sleep on that. Don't sleep on those
what's
offensive
happening
weapons.
against good teams, Drew, this season?
Receiving core for receiving core? I don't know. I might go Texans.
The defense is the main reason.
Yeah, the defense is the biggest problem.
The defense is the main reason why the Lions are losing.
But Dan Campbell, defensive minded coach.
But they lost their corners.
No, he's not against the Bears.
Well, Texans got a better quarterback, and I would argue the receiving core is better. Tank Dell, Nico Collins,
I disagree with you.
I would go over Amon Ra. Amon Ra can't carry it. Like Jameson Williams is cool.
Other than Tank Dell, you take every Lions receiver after that.
Cap.
I got Amon Ra is the best receiver of these two.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think the Lions' weapons are. I think the Lions' weapons are.
He's a.
You don't even know who the Texans tight end is. You don't even know.
Dalton Schultz.
No. Am I lying? Laporta's better than him.
What is he talking about?
All right.
I know Trent knows Dalton.
All right. Well, that was good. Riddell, I'm gonna get back to asking the questions here, and let's get back into these topics. All right,
now I'm mad. Me and Riddell said that at the same time, though.
Laporta's still better.
My question to y'all is: title of the show, Jaguars AFC title dream shattered. Is Trevor Lawrence injury? Obviously, there's really no timetable for when he's returning. It's a high ankle sprain.
Yeah.
Anybody knows if you ever had like a grade 2, grade 3 ankle sprain? I mean, it take a minute. Like an ankle sprain, unfortunately, can nag you an entire season because you need about 2-3 weeks for it to be healed.
That thing gonna swell up like a grape.
Are you? So the Jaguars? Does this mean turmoil for the Jaguars and their postseason hope?
Schedule. Well, they say
I can tell you their schedule right now.
They say his injury is week to week, but again, J-Rob, if you ever had a high,
if you don't play, this season's over with.
I just feel like I think he's going to return soon. I don't know if it's tomorrow yet. But you don't play him versus the Browns. You do not play him versus Miles Garrett.
Agreed.
I agree. You sit him out on that, and then we just have to wait and see. But if he can't play, it's quiet.
After the Browns, though, they play the Ravens, the Bucks, the Panthers, and then the Titans.
Hey. If anything, just bring him back after the Ravens game. Just bring him back after the Ravens game. Yeah, bring him back after the Ravens game.
It looked worse than I thought.
Isn't this the same injury?
Trevor Lawrence hasn't been that great this year.
Stop, bro.
I'm just saying. I don't know if it's a drop off.
Is it him or the play calling, Jalen? Is it him or the play calling? Because to me, it's clearly the play calling.
Maybe it's the play calling, but if the play calling is still going to be bad, maybe again, like I think who the CJ was their back quarterback?
It's not gonna be the Browns.
Yeah,
CJ Beathard. Yeah. Could he with the bad play call? Could he put up numbers similar to Trevor Lawrence or be a game manager? No, yes, I don't think the drop off is as significant as people think. Because I don't think Trevor Lawrence has been that great.
You need to watch CJ Beathard play.
Wait. So tell us your thoughts on Trevor Lawrence and then Drew, let you rebuttal and Riddell, you can go after.
I think Trevor Lawrence has been terrible in the red zone, clearly showcasing by his touchdown numbers and his red zone numbers. He hasn't gotten it done in there. I think now maybe they'll rely more on their running game now. And I think Travis Etienne is actually a really good running back who's been underutilized. Maybe now with the backup quarterback, they'll use him more. And Beathard, again, I want to see how he performs. We've seen backup quarterbacks. We've seen a lot of backup quarterbacks this year perform when their stars have gone out. So again, I want to see it perform and see how they do before saying this season's over. Because I don't think Trevor Lawrence has been as important as people may think to the Jaguars' success.
Last 3 weeks, we've seen Trevor Lawrence. He's looked as comfortable as he's been at the quarterback all season long. You want to talk about that he's not that much of a drop-off, Beathard to Lawrence. That's tough for me to hear, dude, because I look at Trevor Lawrence and the amount of drops that he has experienced early on in the season. Calvin Ridley was supposed to be this A-plus addition, and we've seen him ball out relatively recently, but we also seen him struggle with holding on to the ball. I can think of 3 moments off the top of my head where he dropped not just a catch, but a touchdown pass. And of course, now we could be having different conversations about Trevor Lawrence's numbers. For me, you look at the way that offense has been playing, and you mentioned play calling. I'm not going to disagree too much with you there, because the difference between when Zay Jones is on the field and when Zay Jones is off the field is shocking. For the idea that Zay Jones isn't this crazy player, but with him, you can run him with go routes. And now Calvin Ridley, his tree opens up when he's off the field. Now Calvin Ridley is either a screen pass guy or a go guy, and obviously we know his game's much more than that. Trevor Lawrence, with the way that he impacts his game, where he's obviously one of the better passers, he obviously can impact the game with his legs as well. I think we're seeing that the situation around him, where his offensive line was one of the worst in the league as well, and that's why they had to go out there and get an Ezra Cleveland. There's just a lot that coming into the season, we thought that this situation was near perfect. Calvin Ridley, now Christian Kirk, who's also going to be out for the season, or it's seeming as if he's going to be out for the season as well. We know Travis Etienne's great. Doug Peterson's one of the better head coaches in the game, but he wasn't calling plays earlier in the season. He had to take on that responsibility. I think that if you're just going to stat watch with Trevor Lawrence, then that opinion that you made that it's not that much of a drop-off is fine. And I'm not trying to sound disrespectful. I do apologize. That being said,
I was stat watching those red zone numbers, 14 TDs. I'm stat watching.
Yeah, don't be nice to Jalen.
Wait, there is a drop off though, guys.
Yeah, I'm not even the biggest Trevor Lawrence guy, and I'm like Jerry. You can ask Jerry. But we're not about to say CJ Beathard and T-Law.
That's disrespectful.
That's the most disrespectful. That's probably one of the most disrespectful takes I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
But
the disrespectful is the Eagles beating the 49ers.
Okay. It seems like as of right now on this panel, on the press box, you know what I'm saying, I definitely have become the Trevor Lawrence guy, even though I don't try to put him in certain conversations. But anybody saying Trevor Lawrence is overrated or anything like that, that's false. Nobody really likes Trevor Lawrence, if we're being honest, on the press box. The only people who hype up Trevor Lawrence is maybe Nick Wright on First Take.
That's not true.
No, so and Michael, maybe hold on. When it comes down to it, Trevor Lawrence, yes, you could say, especially for the most of the season. Drew was hitting a lot of the points, especially early on. Me and Michael have spoke about it continuously when it comes to Press Taylor not being a good offensive coordinator and his schemes not being very good. But at the very least, you can say that after that bad loss against the Ravens, the last 3 weeks, the Jags have been playing good, and Trevor Lawrence has been playing great football. Against the Titans, he had 4 touchdowns by himself. Against the Texans, he's playing great football. He had 4 touchdowns by himself against the Titans, blew them out. Against the Texans, it was a back and forth with CJ Stroud and Trevor Lawrence. Both of them played excellent. Both of them passed over 300 yards. Both of them had their passing touchdown, rushing touchdown for Trevor Lawrence as well. Yeah. And against the Bengals, even I was one of those people who was like, I think the Bengals defense is good, even though you can argue about that. But regardless, we recognize Trevor Lawrence was balling against the Bengals as well. He was doing great against the Bengals in that situation. So he was playing great football for the last 3 weeks, and the trajectory was he was going to continue.
Jordan Love's been hooping.
Yeah, Jordan Love's been playing great too.
Yeah, Jordan Love's been great too.
Played better than Jordan.
I think the problem is,
as much as they both played bad, let's keep it real.
Yeah,
Jordan Love is playing worse.
All I was going to say was, I don't think people on the press box hate Trevor Lawrence. I think Riddell, you little bit over dramatic in that case.
Now, if you don't like something as much as Riddell, you hate it.
I just personally think with Trevor Lawrence. I haven't seen the generational talent that he was heralded to be yet in his career. I haven't seen it. I personally haven't seen it. I think he's overrated when people start saying he's a top 5, top 7 in that range guy. I don't think he's in that range.
10.
I think he's more in the 9 to. I think he's more in the 9 to 12 range more than he is.
Yeah, give him 12. 12.
I have him at 8, but I'm not mad at the 9 to 12 either. That's not
this
like
is
I think that's my issue, and I also think he's not even going to be the most. I think in the next coming years, you're going to see this drop off for Trevor Lawrence because he may not even be the most talented quarterback in his own conference.
Might be third.
If you look at the ceiling, ceiling of Anthony Richardson, it is beyond this. It is beyond the skies to the moon. And then if you look at what CJ Stroud has been already, I mean, let's be honest. CJ Stroud is showing more upside in his first year
way more
than we've ever seen.
I'm taking CJ over Trevor Lawrence right now.
So
don't let Baby Elway get going.
So
why is that ridiculous to say?
I get nervous for Trevor. I get nervous for Trevor Lawrence going into his future. Go ahead, Michael.
Here I just want to make it short. Give my point on this topic. I think, as much as Trevor Lawrence might be a little bit overrated for talking about him as a top 5 quarterback, I don't think he's played horrible this season. And last season, he played really well. He showed he could play comfortably. I mean, I'm looking at the stats. I mean, he had 4,100 yards, 25 touchdowns, 8 picks. Not anything like generational yet, but that's a great season to build on. And I think just what has happened is the Jags haven't played up to their ability, especially within the first 7 weeks. Now, neither did Trevor, but they don't play complimentary football. And when I look at the Bengals game yesterday, like Jake Browning had 320 yards. Like, that's ridiculous. Like the Jags defense, has to get better because Jake Browning playing that well with only like 5 incompletions, that's just an indictment of the Jags not coming in prepared and not really showing up to that game. So I think, it's like overall blame for everybody with the Jags. And I'm not going to sit here and bash Trevor Lawrence because, the last 3 or 4 games has been some of the best football he's played in his career. Like when we're just talking about numbers, winning early. I don't understand why that's ridiculous to say. I think you're just a big hater on Trevor Lawrence, to be honest, because you're sitting here crying, talking about how he hasn't had a top 10 season in the NFL. That's ridiculous, bro. Last year he was a legit top 10 quarterback. He was legit a top 10 quarterback. That's all I gotta say.
I think he might have been the beginning of the year, but the way CJ Stroud playing and Brock Purdy will probably win MVP. He ain't top 10 no more. Please dead that.
I never said he was.
Before we go on the tandem, can I say something real quick?
Yeah. Let's not go off topic. But Brock Purdy better than Trevor Lawrence might be a conversation. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying. So look, I think
they just might be closer than we think. Go ahead.
When it comes to Riddell, you talking about nobody rates on the panel. I think we kind of have a business history. Because, again, my main issue with Trevor Lawrence is that people are hyping him up off of, like, the back half of the season and the playoff game because Justin Herbert and the Chargers choked. So we were starting to overrate him again. But people were trying to say, he's closer to Justin Herbert, to the Josh Allens, which I think that's kind of blasphemy. So then now when Trevor Lawrence start playing mid, like this beginning of the season, and nobody's really hyping him up, we trying to give him slander. You trying to say we overhating him. I just think that he was getting too overhyped to begin with, and then we just need to let him play, let him rock out before we start putting him in conversations he don't belong to be in.
Exactly. Go ahead.
I'm trying to figure out where on Trevor Lawrence stat board the last couple games has he been cooking? What the best?
I want to get to that. I'm going to get to that.
He's been balling all 3 games.
Let's run the gauntlet right now just to sell. Like we're not doing QB rankings. We're doing performances so far this season. So has he had a better season than Jalen Hurts, QB performance wise?
No.
No one's arguing he's top 5.
Lamar Jackson.
Top 7.
No.
Absolutely not. No shot. Lamar Jackson's played way better football.
Josh Allen.
Let me get my Lamar jersey out.
I honestly,
no,
you can't. No.
I'm just going down the quarterback.
Josh Allen still playing better than him. Yes.
Josh Allen's
Josh
been
Allen's
arguably
played
the best.
better.
Yes.
J-Rob,
Yes.
stop with the Josh Allen hate.
Josh Allen has been better, yeah.
It's not hate. It's not hate.
But
It's
come
not
No,
hate.
you a
I'm-
Jets fan, bro. But
I'm
stop
not
it.
hating.
Allen
I'm
was
not hating.
playing.
I'm not
really
hating. Nah, he's
bad.
better. He's better. I'm
All right.
No.
I was
I'm
gonna
Pat
say,
He
Mahomes.
played better this year, yeah.
Pat
For
Mahomes.
sure.
Yes,
Mahomes played
No
better, obviously.
question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow.
I mean,
If we're talking about the totality,
Dude, we talking about this season. I don't know about that.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if we want to be
No,
nasty,
no,
I mean, we could be
we're going
nasty.
down the
We could be
quarterback.
nasty right now.
Joe Burrow did not have a good start to the season at all, actually. So no.
Tua.
Exactly.
yeah. You
No,
can't
no
go
way.
better.
Performance,
Tua's been better.
Tua. Yeah.
Tua's
He's
been
playing
better.
better.
We're at 5.
Performance-wise?
Russell Wilson.
No,
No.
no.
It's been very
Russell
similar.
Wilson
It's been
goes
very
to
similar.
20.
Yeah, that could go either way. I could flip a coin with that. I could flip a coin.
And the fact that you can flip a coin with that proves
Exactly.
Russell's better.
Exactly. Nah, facts. Exactly.
That is nasty as hell.
Wait. I don't agree with that part. Wait. I don't think that approves. I just like the part that I was more on the part that is kind of weird that it's a coin flip.
Yeah. So I didn't count it. Jared Goff.
No.
Jared Goff's playing
No.
better, I think.
Jared
Performance,
Edge has been
you could
better.
take
Jared
off.
Edge has been better for the year.
Performance, you could take off.
He's had one bad game.
Jared Edge has been better on the year.
That no, not over that. Hell no.
No, not over Dak. No way.
Performance,
Definitely
Dak,
not.
yeah.
You saying, Lonnie, you telling us what we already know. It's hella quarterbacks. We know.
Lonnie, wait, can I say this?
No,
But that doesn't
no,
prove
let him finish
anything.
that, Rob.
That
Say his
doesn't prove
name,
anything.
Lonnie.
It really
Rob
doesn't.
Purdy.
It doesn't prove
Yeah, I think
nothing.
Brock Purdy, no.
Like, what are we talking
Nope.
about?
No,
Nope.
no.
Wait, can I say this? Can I say this about
Go ahead.
the
Go
whole
ahead,
T.Y.
Dev.
situation? I feel like it's kind of like right now his hate and then like what Early's doing is really idiotic right now because he's in his third year. He's still developing. Like just because he doesn't have these gaudy numbers and all this stuff doesn't mean anything.
I
Like,
ain't
in his
done
third-
though.
he's in
I
his
ain't done.
third
CJ
year.
No, let
Stroud.
them finish. Let them
Let
finish.
him finish. No.
People saying people saying he's peaked out. Like just people saying he hasn't just because he hasn't peaked out having these gaudy numbers. He went like every year he's getting better, is developing. Same way how Anthony Richardson can be the best quarterback. Same thing, Trevor Lawrence. We can't take away from his talent. Why are we discrediting Trevor Lawrence's talent? And I'm not mad.
I'm just asking performances this year. I'm just asking.
And here's
CJ
the thing,
Stroud.
and J.R. Trent. I'm not mad. And J.R. Trent, you guys are being very objective because like you guys like Trevor Lawrence, and I agree. Everything you guys say is valid. I can understand CJ Stroud being better, but discredit Trevor Lawrence's performance this year and how he's been performing. He's been being able to manage that team. Same way how like Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson.
Russell Wilson.
He's been
the most
impacting
limited
winning
game
games,
manager.
winning football.
So, Dad, let me ask you a question, Dad. Let's ask you a
Kodak,
question.
he's 14
Wait.
TDs and 7 picks. What are you talking about?
And guess what? They're 8-3, are they not?
Not because of him.
They should be 9-3. Not because of Trevor Lawrence. Like, what are we?
Hold up.
talking
So
about?
he's
The
playing
defense is
consistent.
playing.
I'll be the veto so bad.
Time out. Dad, finish your point because I want to get to this next question because I got a different question that I need y'all to answer for me. Go ahead, Dad.
I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence is a top 5 quarterback. I'm not saying he's better than these guys or anything, but he is a developing quarterback in his third year after he had a god awful first year. He looked really good his second year. And like
He's
he played
top
like
10.
a top 9 quarterback this year. And this year,
Right now
he's
he's at 9.
and relative to the league,
It's
relative to the
nasty,
league,
Lonnie. Stop it.
relative to the league, no one else is having a crazy year. So relative to the league, he's performing pretty good relative to the league after no one else having
Compared to that,
Can I say?
what you talking
Dad,
about?
Dad, before
I didn't say A-Rod. I didn't say Justin Herbert.
I want to ask another question because I want to move topics because we only got we got to make sure we stay within our time frame. But Dev, I do want to ask you this question. It's okay that Trevor Lawrence is more like the Jadeveon Clowney of quarterbacks. Good number one pick. Good number one pick. Good player. Not a true bust. Not a true bust. Always going to be serviceable. Going to be a starter. Going to have high starter, maybe Pro Bowl potential every year. But not the generational talent that he was expected to be, because Jadeveon Clowney was probably the best pass rusher talent we've seen, one of all time, and didn't turn out to pan out like that. And Trevor Lawrence was considered to be one of the greatest quarterback prospects of all time.
Ever.
I will
say this. Dev, I will say this. Take off the Clemson glasses too, bro. Take them off. Take him off.
And I do think Dev be having.
Dev's not saying anything wrong. He's not saying anything wrong. Dev's not saying
He be having his.
I'm not saying anything wrong.
You don't need to take the Clemson
Is it because
because I wonder if T-Law didn't play for Clemson, I wonder if he would truly be saying this. Because same question I was.
He didn't say anything incorrect.
He didn't say anything crazy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Wait, hold on. Wait, I have a genuine question. I have a genuine question, J-Rod. Wait, I have a genuine question.
Go ahead, Trey. Go ahead,
You
Trey.
don't think Jadeveon Clowney's a bust? Because to me, hear me out. The reason why I say that, because I'm not gonna lie, the way you just brought up that was crazy. Because I think he's the Andrew Wiggins of the NFL. Meaning, Jadeveon Clowney was supposed to be better than J.J. Watt. Jadeveon Clowney was supposed to be one of the best players to ever play this game, and he literally ended up being the Andrew Wiggins of the NFL. Just like how Andrew Wiggins was supposed to be in the NBA, was supposed to be one of the best players to ever play the game.
Oh, you're talking about Jadeveon.
So we're basing bust off of just people's personal expectations and not what's actual result.
That's part of being a bust.
Go ahead,
But
Drew.
he also was around a great team.
That is a part of what being a bust is. Go ahead, Drew.
Last thing I'll say on the topic. After one of the worst rookie seasons that we've seen from a quarterback, especially with the idea of what Trevor was supposed to be, name a worse situation than the one that he was put into. To the year after, to go for 30 total touchdowns, 11 INTs, with your best option being Christian Kirk. And he won a playoff game.
Kirk is a good receiver.
He is good.
Drew, when I said that, they all laughed at me. They all laughed at me and Trent argued.
Hold on.
Think about the conversations on Kirk's name when he signed that contract, that he was one of the highest paid wide receivers at that time when they made that deal. But why did they do that? For necessity, because they needed to help out Trevor Lawrence, to put someone out there that was respectable. And Kirk definitely has vindicated that deal. But at the same time, we're talking about one of the worst situations to now you're a playoff team with 30 total touchdowns and only 11 turnovers. I mean, a little respect needs to be put on his name.
I don't think compare him to Jadeveon Clowney. I don't think we can
year two.
They all laughed at you. Barely went.
I said this. All I'm saying is Clowney wasn't really a disrespect. Wasn't me trying to dislike him? Because I don't think Jadeveon Clowney was a bad football player. All I'm saying is I don't know. I just don't know what Trevor Lawrence is going to be in the grand scheme of it all when it comes to the rest of the field of quarterbacks. You got to remember, we got Caleb Williams coming in. If he pans out, there's going to be probably one other quarterback maybe in this class that is stacked who may be good. So all I'm saying about Trevor Lawrence is he may just get caught in the shuffle of a bunch of other really good guys because Herbert's not going anywhere, Burrow's not going anywhere, Lamar, Jalen, Mahomes. Obviously, CJ's in his own conference. So that's all I'm saying. I don't think he's a bad player by no stretch. It's just I get worried about how he's going to be compared to what the other guys are going to look like.
J-Rob, real quick.
Y'all like the way he looked. Y'all don't watch him play. I like the way he looked.
No. Stop. Wait. Come out.
Early. Why do you go over
early? Justin Herbert isn't one. Listen, I don't want to sound like Mookie Jones, but Justin Herbert, watch the tape, bro. Just turn that tape on, man.
He's incredible still. He's incredible still.
It is some of the worst offensive and defensive tape in football is over there in Los Angeles Chargers, and it's actually.
I'm not talking about Justin Herbert. I'm saying Trevor Lawrence. Like y'all like the way he looks.
All I know is Brady.
No, Trevor Lawrence plays good ball, bro.
All I know is
early you're acting like he's played bad. He's played well in his career early. He's a 3-year quarterback.
I'm calling Trent and J-Rob out specifically. When I said the exact same thing Drew said 3 weeks ago about Trevor Lawrence being in the worst, possibly having the worst head coach of all time as his head coach. And they all attacked me. Didn't even want to.
It's my turn.
What was the context of that conversation?
Yeah, I don't remember the context.
Let me ask you a question.
No. He want to call us out. We don't have amnesia.
No. You're right. The argument. But all I'm saying is that y'all were attacking Trevor Lawrence for not playing. No, J-Rob, I'm trying to tell you right now. I was trying to tell y'all because y'all was like, hey, we got a question about Trevor Lawrence. I was like, all right, you can have questions, but add the context. Legitimately, the worst head coach of all time. And y'all looked at that and scoffed. The same head coach.
True.
Yes, you did. You literally did.
Wait, Brandon.
Come out. Let me let me go into this whole conversation because we were talking about Trevor Lawrence's upside, and he kept bringing up Urban Meyer, and we were saying that random. It's year 3. We saw him take a giant leap in the second year. We were expecting him to do more this season. I don't know why random you're bringing that up about the situation when nobody, even in that conversation, argued the fact that the Urban Meyer situation was a travesty. But unfortunately, in year 3, we still can't be talking about that, especially if he's shown significant improvement. So you're hanging your hat.
J-Rob, let me ask you a question, though.
Let me ask you a question. When he's shown improvement, bro. Come on now. Go ahead.
J-Rob, please let me ask you a question because this is a topic I want to bring up when we talk about quarterbacks in year 3 trying to make super significant predictions on how they're going to end up. My thing is, what were the conversations we were having about Jalen Hurts within the first 3 years? And that's all I want to say. Within the first 2 years, okay, Trevor Lawrence had a better season than Jalen Hurts did. He did. That second year is better than Jalen Hurts played in the first 2. So all I'm saying is, I'm not saying you're inherently completely wrong, but all I'm saying is, how are you going to make a significant determination that he can't be a guy in year 3 when he's had a good season under his belt? That's all I'm saying.
Who said he wasn't going to? Michael, at what point did I say he wasn't going to be a guy?
You called him Jadavian.
I said compared to the rest. Okay, I said compared to the rest of the field. I said compared to the rest of the field. Okay,
calling him Jadavian Clowney has nothing to do with it.
Jadavian Clowney may have a negative connotation, but the only reason I compared the two because they were number 1 picks in the draft, and there are multiple players that played the same position as them that are better than them. So since
that's fine, but to call
hold on, Michael spoke to me about this, so you want to just answer my question, Michael? In the NFL right now. Is he better than Dak Prescott?
No.
Is he better than
Trevor Lawrence? No.
No.
Let me answer my question. Let him answer my question.
Yeah.
Okay, and no one else answered because I want to.
Is he better? Is he better than Patrick Mahomes?
No.
Is he better than Josh Allen?
No.
Hell no.
Is he better than Joe Burrow?
Hell no.
Is he better than Justin Herbert?
Hell no.
Okay. I think I can argue with. Has he been better than Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, that's the conversation.
J-Rob. Please let me respond.
Hold on, let me finish. No, Michael, I want to get to my point because I want to get to my point.
Fine.
You're talking to me about me projecting about what he's going to be. We can name about 7-8 guys that are already better than him right now in the league. That's already so he's 8. He's the 8th best quarterback right now. So unless he takes some sort of significant leap. And we can also assume
J-Rob, you missed one thing, J-Rob.
Hold on. Kyler Murray comes back next season. Kyler Murray will be back next year. We don't know what he's going to be. A second year of CJ Stroud. We get
in this conversation.
We don't know. Okay, so all I'm saying is, you're saying, why can't I project of what he's going to be? Well, if there's already 7 guys who are better than him and a bunch of unknowns, he's already in the back of the shuffle. All I'm saying is, I have to see a significant jump for Trevor Lawrence to get this idea that he'll be in the top tier of quarterbacks because there's already 6 or 7 guys. I didn't even say Jalen Hurts' name when I was naming those guys who are already better than him. And some people may say they think Tua might be better than him. So that could be 9 quarterbacks.
No, he's not better.
Hold on, let me finish. Depending on who you ask, the way we talk about Russell Wilson turning around the Broncos, let the Broncos make some noise. Some people may argue that Russell Wilson is better than him. So my only argument to you is my projection on him comes with the bearing that there's already potentially 9 guys better than him, and there's going to be other guys coming down the pipe. So he was a number 1 pick in the draft, but he may never at any point in his career be better than
so what? He was number 1. He had the worst quarterback draft of all time.
That's all I'm saying.
Stop screaming and let me respond.
No, you can't keep screaming stupid stuff. All I'm trying to say about him. And Jadavian Clowney may have the negative connotation, but I don't look at Jadavian.
3-time Pro Bowler. That's not a bust.
Real quick, just let me respond. Let me respond to that take. Because I'm not sitting here denying our evaluations of Trevor Lawrence in today, right now, are literally the exact same. Low key. But my thing is to sit here and say that he can't get better because, I see someone in the chat saying, oh, Dak was good year 1. First of all, Dak took a jump past year 5, number 1. Number 2, he had one of the best situations for a rookie quarterback ever. So don't give me that crap that Dak Prescott played better year one. That's a terrible take because Trevor Lawrence has not had the same pieces around him that Dak had since rookie year. All I'm saying is I've seen quarterbacks that we are saying are better than him right now take jumps past year 3. So all I'm saying is that I'm not going to hold out hope. Not hope, but I'm not going to hold out a little bit of certainty that he can't be a top 5 quarterback one day. I think I need to see one more season. If this continues, then I will be a little bit more hard on him, like from that standpoint. But our evaluation's big up him this year because he hasn't looked good.
It's a wait and see. Can I say something real quick? Because first the conversation because Randall called me and J-Rob out. I think the thing that me and J-Rob had an issue is that we talked about T-Law because a lot of people, especially I remember this like last year when he was playing like a top 3 quarterback last year in the back half of the season, people were putting him in conflict that he didn't belong in. And then now when he started to play mid in year 3, y'all still want to go back to year 1 when he's in that bad situation. Everybody named Mama know Trevor Lawrence is in the worst situation in football. Like I've always preached, you can be bad. You can be bad in a bad situation. He took a leap. So we not trying to hear year 1, oh, this and that, blah, blah, blah. When he took a major leap in one half of the season.
Crazy.
And then now he's just looking, he's playing a good game. He's still inconsistent. That's the main thing with Trevor Lawrence. He doesn't have consistent play. That's why he's not in these top 5 conversations. If he would have more consistent play, we would have more conversations.
I got a question too, man.
And you got the offensive weapons. Look what Jordan Love going to.
I got a question too. You know, you look at every quarterback.
Go ahead, Manny. Let Manny go. Because Manny,
so
go ahead, Manny.
You look at. I gotta because like, are we really saying that Trevor Lawrence is like playing this good? Because I don't think he's playing like amazing football. But what I'm saying is, if you look at all these other quarterbacks, you know, Purdy, Hurts, all these dudes are at the top of their conference. The Jaguars are at top there. They in the MVP talks. Trevor Lawrence ain't in no MVP talk. He ain't.
So what?
They're winning games.
Oh my
God.
All right, Manny, add some context. Both of those players that you named.
Wait. Let Manny
hold on. Add the context. Add the context, Manny.
Let Manny give his take, because then we got to move on to the next time.
Let Manny add the context. Both of those quarterbacks have way better weapons than what
I got a quote from T-Law.
Evan Ingram. That's pretty nice.
Debo, Ayuk, George Kittle, McCaffrey. What are we talking about?
Okay.
AJ Brown, Smitty, DeAndre Swift, Dallas Goedert. None of
better, dog.
What are you talking about, Manny?
Okay, y'all. Hold on. Riddell, give us a
Nico Collins in there.
I didn't even get to
Hey, yeah. So
then we got to do our super chats. Hold on, go ahead.
Yeah. T-Law talked about his injury. He said, I'll never put myself or the team at higher risk that we aren't going to do our best because I can't do my job. And then Doug Peterson said, we have to weather this storm, so to speak, regarding his health. So a little shaking regarding what's going on with Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars right now.
I'll say this. And the good thing about the Jaguars, I think they have enough leeway to be able to at least get a good 2 to 3 weeks to try to get that ankle as right as possible. And maybe at least if they could at least win one of those games of their next 3, maybe see where he's at. But if it's up to me, I'm getting him off that ankle for the next 3 weeks. We're going intense rehab, 0 gravity, ice stem, acupuncture. It is going to be the rehab of hell for the next 3 weeks, because that's really the best way if you want to try to. I know, but if you're trying to speak, but if you're trying to speak, hold on. What do you know? Okay, but let's look at football from an ankle perspective. What's right now the biggest problem with that ankle? It's probably it looked like a grapefruit.
Swollen. Oh, yeah.
So the immediate thing for the next 2 weeks is how much of that swelling can we get out in the meantime, because that's really going to be able to put the weight on it, and because you can tape up the ankle and be able to get it stiff enough where you're not going to worry about the tendons and stuff being all loose and gunky. But
he's not good enough a quarterback to out here to roll out. He needs to be 100% on his feet. He's not good enough a quarterback.
Hold on. I'm not.
No, random. I need you, random. Let's start. You can start on next topic.
I'm not trying to let Manny get away with it. It's clear who has better supporting.
All right, so let me ask you this question: who got better support? Trevor Lawrence.
We gotta move on, y'all.
Let me ask you a question. I want to ask you a question right now on offense. Who got it? Keep Christian Kirk because he just got hurt, and they both just got hurt. Who got a better offense?
If you include tight end,
who got better weapons? Dallas or besides CeeDee Lamb? Who got better weapons? Trevor Lawrence?
Why would you take away CeeDee Lamb? J-Rob, the fact that he will not.
This is
The
such a
fact
nasty
that
comparison.
the fact that he refused to bring up
Agreed.
Brock
That's
Purdy
kinda
again
good.
because he knew he was cooked on Brock Purdy. He knew he was
What do you
cooked
mean?
on Jalen Hurts. So he brought up Dak and took
how am
away
I
his
cooked,
best
bro?
weapon.
What do you mean? You didn't
What are
let
we
me
talking
finish.
about?
You didn't let me finish.
Man, we gotta move on, man. We gotta move on.
I didn't get to
Trevor.
finish.
He's number 2 in
Man,
yards.
move on.
Man,
We
who
gotta
has
move
better
on.
weapons between Brock Purdy and
gotta
Trevor?
move on.
Who has
We gotta
better
move
weapons,
on.
Who got
baby?
better weapons
You know the
between
answer
Dak
to
and Trevor?
You know the
It's
answer.
not like
Do I get
CeeDee
to take
Lamb's
CeeDee Lamb
number
out
2
again?
in the
Do I take
NFL
CeeDee
in
Lamb
yards.
out?
That's
Random,
one
stop,
CD.
dog. Stop doing
Do I
that,
take
dog.
CeeDee Lamb
If you're
out?
good
What
at
did he stop
quarterback,
doing
you're
that?
good
He
at
literally just
quarterback. Who does
he
George
just
Lane?
handicapped.
Oh
He
my
just
God.
handicapped Dak to prove a.
All right, enough.
I didn't handicap Dak. I
Y'all
said
need to break some
besides
bread.
take out
Random
CeeDee
really
Lamb.
need to break some bread, bro. They need to break some bread for real.
All right, fellas. All right, let's get to these super chats. Shout out to E-Word with the super chat. Shout out to the GOAT Drew for showing PC love. Shout out Drew. Thank you for pulling up, my brother.
Of course.
Random said the Pats will make the playoffs with Trevor Lawrence. How y'all feel about this?
He said, hey, which car's better? But I'm gonna take out the Ferrari engine.
Random
Bro, I
said,
said besides CeeDee Lamb. Besides CeeDee Lamb, who does Dak have that's better than
Hey,
T.
let
Law's
me take out the
weapons?
Ferrari engine.
enough.
Jake Ferguson is a
Come on,
great
bro.
tight end.
Enough. Random said the Pats will make the playoffs with Lawrence. How y'all feel about that? There's no
I
way.
never
Hell.
said that.
He lied.
When did I say that?
Yeah.
When did
I don't know.
say that?
We gotta roll back to the tape. Duval Williams. Have y'all not watched his last 3 games when they are finally letting him throw the ball downfield? When he does, he is easily a top 6.
J-Rob, Duval is in his
No,
vein.
bro,
Duval
he's
is in his
making
vein.
games.
I
That's a
don't
biased
understand
take.
that people don't hear what I said. I said besides CeeDee Lamb, but we got it.
Bro,
Riddell, this is my issue. with
Enough.
Trevor Lawrence.
Prodigy, I'm sick of the tour disrespect. Only cute. All right, no, nobody. We're not gonna go into.
That's ridiculous.
That is a fan, clearly. All right,
Throw some respect onto his name is all I'm gonna say.
Tua is nice. Tua is not. Yeah, but he's not the second. He's not.
He's
not. All right, let's get it. All right, let's move on to this next question. I got to throw y'all a bit of a curveball here because, my life's a joke, so your life's going to be a joke today. So as a New York Jets fan, Zach Wilson, the story came out that he was reluctant to play quarterback for the New York Jets.
Why are we talking about this, bro?
Now, that is absolutely ridiculous. And some of the most comical stories I've heard in the latest. And I get it. The boos from the New York fans are crazy. But Zach, these tickets ain't cheap. And you know what? Like Shannon Sharp said, all we want you to do is your effing job, brother. We don't want too much. You want to throw when it's open.
I'm a Jets fan. Please let me
We want you to take a hit in the pocket and just make the throw. It's okay. You have pads on. They're not gonna. It is what it is. Listen, I don't know. I looked up something recently and I found out that the Wilson family is tied to, I think, JetBlue or Delta, their vice presidents or something in that big airline. Maybe that's why Woody Johnson does not want to let this kid go. But while you're here, Zach, you got to play quarterback for us, brother.
This
and
is
that
so
reluctant,
boring, man.
And that reluctant stuff, then you don't got to be here, Michael. Nobody got a gun to your head, brother.
No, I'm just saying. No. I'm sorry, Gerald. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So you see that flag? This shit means something to me. So
that means something to me too. You know the vibe.
J-Rob, why do you want to talk about this?
Hey, Gerald,
you want to answer my question because my question to you, Michael. Because my question to you, Michael, was first I was venting a little bit, Michael. I wanted to vent. But the thing I was going to ask my thing I wanted to ask the panel was, what do we do to fix the next 4 years of the team, guys? Can somebody give me? Give me the answer?
I'm a
Go
Jets
ahead,
fan.
Manny.
First and foremost,
somebody give me the answer.
All right, first of all, you
tell me what we should do over the next 3 years.
The next 3 years, all right. I'm gonna put my GM hat on
because I don't know anymore.
You Ferguson again.
You revamp that O-line and what you do, and I think the Jets are finally realizing it's not the quarterback, it's the line, and it's the play calling. It's definitely Hackett. They got to realize it is Nathaniel Hackett. It's the play calling. It's terrible. It is
Sean Payton was right.
Terrible.
He never
absolutely
lied.
Terrible. And what they do this year, I think the rest of the year you sit Rodgers out, you get a top pick in the draft, you either get a lineman, or you could go quarterback and sit him behind Rodgers, go get Devontae Adams in free agency. Trade for him. The defense is still going to be stellar. Go get some linemen, and we're going to be straight next year.
Go ahead, Dan. Tell me how I should fix the Jets, man. These are critical questions.
Adele, I got my GM out on, right?
These answers will affect rankings significantly, depending on the answer.
First thing first. Well, all right. First thing first, as a fan, for Manny and Gerald, first thing first, y'all need to pray first. Pray that the injury.
Bro, what you mean pray? Well, I already gave my soul to Allah.
No, listen. I mean, pray, I'm saying pray to whoever religion you are that your quarterback can stay healthy with whoever you got. But I agree. You revamp the O-line. You find a play calling that can get Garrett Wilson the ball more. Utilize Breece Hall, and then I feel like if you get another play catcher next to get some more
Garrett
dynamic
Wilson.
receivers next to Garrett Wilson because he's a clear
You
number
get 17.
1. And then I feel like with Aaron Rodgers coming back, if you guys can get another QB to
Clear
develop
number 1.
behind Aaron Rodgers because he's not gonna last so long. He's 40 years old. I think you guys still have enough talent to win now, especially next year. Get that defense going. Get some more pass rush. Get another pass rusher for the D line as well.
I love
in my
Jermaine
opinion.
Johnson and Bryce Huff.
Yeah, he's been good. He's been let those guys develop, play real good. Sauce Gardner still one of the elite corners in the game, and keep Robert Saleh. I don't think people are saying his job on the hot seat. No, I think you keep Robert Saleh. You just get another offensive line. Probably throw a bag at Ben Johnson. Throw a bag at the Lions offensive coordinator. Throw a bag at whichever offensive coordinator that's out there. And I feel like that's gonna help the Jets going forward.
Go ahead, Random. What do you think we should do? Bro?
All right, so. I understand. I don't care if Zach Wilson's part of jet blue, quarter blue, any type of blue. Get him out of there, okay? First things first. Y'all had 4 years. Y'all had 4 years to know what y'all knew from jump when y'all. Because say one thing about the Jets fans, man, they smart and they was booing on draft night and they've been booing ever since. Okay, so
they boo everybody though, Random.
First things first. Hey,
for good reason. For good reason.
Everybody. First things first. Hey, Zach, thank you for your service. Go ahead and go on your MILF journey. You take care of yourself. Have a great time.
Bro, Zach don't even
get Zach out of there.
Me,
go ahead. Look at Rodgers. Say, look, first things first, Rodgers. We appreciate you. We want you to come back. But Randall Cobb, go ahead, retire from me, my boy. Alan Lazard.
Free up a spot.
And I understand that we still got to pay you for next year, but go ahead and get on out of here. And we'll figure it out. Nathaniel Hackett, you better thank your lucky stars that Aaron Rodgers wants to keep you because that's the only reason you here. All right, Woody Johnson, just go ahead, stay up there in a suite. Let us cook down here, please. Now, the first things first, I would love for them to address their offensive line because that is the thing that you really need to figure out. But ironically, at the same time, you need to find a way to just because Aaron Rodgers is 40 years old. I would preferably. There's going to be a plethora of quarterback talent coming out, so you can wait a little bit longer. You don't have to get him in the first round. You can get a quarterback in the second round, something like that. But then also go call Tanner Heineke and have him sit behind because, dear God, I said it right before the trade deadline. I said that weeks before. Y'all trotting out Zach Wilson and J-Rob bought the Kool-Aid. He's like, Zach, I believe in you. And what happened? And then you got mad at me because I told you the truth.
Oh, we was 4-3. Everything was looking like we
Taylor Heineke
with the Raiders and the Chargers.
And that is exactly why. That is exactly why you are in the position you've seen today because you saw that man play for 3 years before that. And you still were like, we're 4.
I was never a believer. I was never a believer, bro. I really was never a believer.
We wanted Fields, bro. Real Jets fan wanted Fields, bro.
Like, after I watched Justin Fields throw 6 TD passes on Trevor Lawrence's noggin, bro. I thought that was a surefire pick at the number 2 spot was going to be Jay Fields.
So obviously, if you don't go that way, try like say
no, he's not. No, he's not.
You can try.
No, I didn't say he was bad. I said he would look bad.
Like if you want to try what the Cowboys did and maybe send a 5th round pick to the Bears or something like that and try to get Justin Fields and have him sit so you can maybe maximize your offensive line because you want to maximize this time that you have with Rodgers and potentially you could maybe win a championship. But right now, the departures are where it is most needed, and also you need to tell Woody Johnson, I get it. I know you go golfing on your private like golf course with Zach Wilson's family, but you need to understand. If you want us to win, because I know you're tired of watching everybody else but you win, these are moves that you need to make.
No, I don't think we should trade for Fields, though. I'm not going front. Go ahead. Early. I saw your hand go up first earlier.
You got to rebolster that O-line. Most definitely rebolster that O-line. You can draft pick, rebolster the O-line. Or anybody in free agency that's worth a damn, get them. And I do believe that let Zach Wilson either go or make sure he ain't starting no more. I think getting a new quarterback is not the move for you guys. Y'all need to try to go get a Kirk Cousins or one of them guys that's about to be gone. Do not get a new quarterback. Somebody got to learn fresh. Get somebody who's already a seasoned vet. And I'm be honest with you, the most important thing I need to do is get rid of y'all coach and make the Jets great again. Man, get Rex Ryan back, man. Go get Rex Ryan back, man.
Okay, now we trolling. Okay. Now we're trolling.
I'm not mad. J-Rob, I'm not mad. J-Rob, I'm not mad.
You don't understand.
That's
like, yeah, I'm cool with Rex coming back, bro. If you know we had a good ass. We just did not have a quarterback.
They'll win the headlines for 2 years and be right back where they are.
Rex Ryan
had to just. You gotta understand. Rex Ryan had to just turned up for. Yeah, if you know,
9-10 was the best years of my life.
We had Mark Sanchez, bro. We the fact that we
rookie.
We carried Mark Sanchez literally on our backs.
Quarterback away, dog.
He made Mark Sanchez was the first Jimmy G. We Jimmy G Mark Sanchez first.
We did Jimmy G Mark Sanchez.
We Jimmy G Mark Sanchez first.
With Shane Green and Santonio Holmes.
Bro, we because of us. Go ahead, Michael.
Okay, I'm gonna make this very short because I want Lonnie to go too, and you guys said good points. The number one thing that I want to say is, look, I think the Jets, they're not in a good spot right now. But if we think back, I made this point the other day. If we look past in the last 15 years, even 20, they haven't had two guys with this much upside as weapons. I think, like, obviously they have good guys, but like these guys are both really young and could build a team around them. So for me, their map is set. Like in past years, it's been like, where do we even start? Now, you got Rodgers for at least 2 years. So you build up that O-line. You try to make that running game as dynamic as possible with Breece Hall. And you continue to try to add weapons in the draft as well as that. And I think you use the back rounds to just try to find some sleepers on defense, fill some holes you need to fill, make that defense a legit, like, number one defense in the NFL type thing. Even though I think, like, they wouldn't have had a shot if they had a good offense. I'm just saying, like,
I agree.
Make that strength better in the back end of the draft and address your needs in the front end. And hey, if you don't get a receiver that works, maybe try to bank on a number 2. Give him a 2-year deal. Give him a 3-year deal. As long as A-Rod's going to be here, just be like, look, man, something like that, because I think they're in a good position to try to win now while also building for the future. So I think they should do.
They're in a great spot, bro.
Go ahead, Lonnie.
Well, right now you guys I think are like 6 in the NFL draft order. You guys don't
Brock
have a
Bowers.
No, I'm thinking like you'll probably since you're talking O-line, you're probably looking at like Joe Alt or JC from Alabama in terms of O-lineman. But yeah, you have the weapon. You have Breece Hall. You have Garrett.
Just need a quarterback.
No, they do a quarterback. But like, what quarterback would be around the 3rd round that they would want to get at that point?
No, I'm talking about
go get Kirk Cousins in the 1st round, man.
Go get Kirk.
I'm gonna be Kirk Cousins just came off. Kirk Cousins
Kirk doesn't make sense because of his injury.
Yeah, y'all not really telling me nothing I really wanted to hear.
No, but let me this isn't really to help you. This is a real help you, but as a Patriots fan,
y'all not really saying some of the right words. Go ahead, Trent.
To be honest with you, J-Rob, to me, well, I think y'all can get this still. There's so many tackles. I'm gonna be honest with you, J-Rob. Mekhi Becton.
He's nice.
He busted.
Have you watched him this year? Did you watch him this year?
He's been proved.
He's been by far our best offensive lineman this season.
Okay, that's very tough, but that's not saying much.
That's the case then. That's the case then. If you think
turn on that all 22, let's watch it together, Manny. I'm telling you, he's been our best guy. He's been our best guy.
Barrett Tucker is our best lineman, though, for sure.
But he hurt. But he's not here.
Because I've been seeing and hearing a lot of bad things about him. But to me, though, J-Rob, to me, you already know how I feel about Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers is healthy, y'all damn near a 1 seed. Yeah. So to me, bro, like, I'm sorry, like Alan Lazard,
y'all put him on 40.
Alan Lazard not it. I think y'all need to get a bona fide wide receiver too. Like bona fide. I think this wide receiver class for receivers is generational. You got Malik Neighbors, Keon Coleman, Romeo Duze. You got all these guys, J-Rob.
Xavier Legette.
You need somebody to. You need somebody. Yeah, this wide receiver class could be potentially.
I don't know if Neighbors is generational. I don't know if Neighbors is
generational. No. I'm saying
Neighbors is nice.
Neighbors is nice. Class. Yeah. The class is crazy.
Wide receivers that
the class is crazy.
You need to get a bona fide wide receiver too to help off Garrett Wilson. You get a Malik. You get like so. What's your pick 6?
6.
Right
They
now.
could get
You
Malik, bro.
need
They
Nate
could get Malik.
J-Rob? Wait,
They
Gabe with G. Will?
They need O linemen.
It's dynamic.
You're not singing to me. You're not singing to me either, bro. You're not singing to me
It's to
either.
me, y'all get a lineman
Well,
or y'all get a wide
J-Rob,
receiver.
how are we supposed to sing to you?
Riddell,
It's the
Riddell, tell
freaking
me
Jets.
something.
They
Riddell, tell me
suck,
something
and
better.
they've been
I know
suck.
how to fix the team. Riddell, go ahead. I thought
All
y'all.
right.
I didn't tell you nothing good.
Hey, man.
This is why it's all up to me. It's why it's
I told
always
you
been
draft
me.
the QB.
Hey, I'm not mad at it. J-Rob obviously knows his team and trying to fix the mess. I'll respect him for trying, of course.
Manny, that wasn't good enough.
Hey, with that said, the Jets are in a weird situation. One, obviously, they better hope and pray that Aaron Rodgers can kind of figure out whatever magically remedy that he's utilizing to bring him back onto the football field, and that works actually and doesn't destroy him, physically. So yeah, whatever you got going on needs to work. And my thing is for the Jets moving forward, I agree that they have to bolster the offensive line. I will say they probably need to get rid of Nathaniel Hackett and look for someone that can emphasize that run game even more so, because that run game can definitely you can play into it and make the offense way more effective. It won't be pass heavy, and eventually they got to get a receiver, but that way definitely works better, especially with an elite defense that the Jets have, of course. And realistically, if we're being honest, there may be a quarterback in the later rounds, but more than likely, they just got to get some quarterback that is not like that good, but like a little bit unproven or people gave up on.
Man, get him off.
So like a person like Justin Fields is an option because the Bears will get
Fields.
Enough.
Giving up too much to get Fields. It's not worth it.
Enough.
Well, the Bears will trade him.
I haven't heard a fixed job I like that. Come on, Drew, your last one, and I'll tell you what they should do.
How was my job bad?
You
was
do
just trying to help,
nothing,
man.
You're not helping.
Do nothing to the defense. Defense is one of the best units in the game. The defense is near perfect. Let's talk about the offense. You already mentioned offensive line. I think if you fired Robert Saleh, it wouldn't be the worst thing because you have so many dogs on that defense. You just need to bring in a defensive coordinator that's just going to be able to put them in the right positions to succeed.
They could keep the same one they got. They could keep Jeff.
I don't know if Rex, is coming back to the Jets to be a coordinator. If he's coming back, he's trying to be a head coach. I think if Ben Johnson's available,
Ben Johnson.
Head coach. Now, Aaron Rodgers is going to be there next year. We can't count out the fact that the Jets aren't going to continue to climb and not put themselves in that top 2, top 3 discussion by the end of the season. If y'all won a game rest of the year, I would be surprised. No slight, your offense is just one of the worst I've ever seen. But that defense is like that. Now, here's the situation. I think next year, let's say you drop into that top 2, top 3, then that means Drake May's in the question. That means that Marvin Harrison's in the conversation now. Now, right, that's your option there. Now, let's say you stay around 6. You draft an offensive lineman. You trade for Davante Adams. You repair Aaron Rodgers with Davante Adams next to Garrett Wilson as well. I think the offensive line definitely needs help, so you draft the offensive lineman with that position. But, again, that's best case scenario. But this is how, if we're trying to live in a dream world, you dream about Davante Adams playing in that green and black and being alongside Garrett Wilson, who I think is one of the best young receivers in the game. I think that you guys need to go in with just like ridiculous expectations or insane ideas because you already had Aaron Rodgers, right? That wasn't supposed to be a reality. Here's your quarterback next year. So once he went down, you knew the season was cooked. I think that you don't throw out the idea we could be a top 2, top 3 team, and our team could be on the up next year.
So the one thing I was hoping one of y'all would tell me was that the biggest Achilles heel for this team has been what? We have not had a franchise quarterback ever since Joe Namath. There has never been somebody to lead us for the next 20 years of our team. The only path to glory for this team is finding the heir to that throne. And as much as I love, hold on, but y'all keep talking about this O-line. I do not want to waste a first-round pick on Joe Alt, and Joe Alt is not a waste in terms of what I think he is. But it's not about getting Marvin Harrison Jr. or a wide receiver. It got to be Jaden Daniels. It has to be Jaden Daniels. That needs to be the Jets.
He ain't as good as y'all make this nigga.
Hold on, stop. It's not about that early. It's not about that. At the end of the day, I think offensive line and quarterback on the offensive end are the 2 hardest positions to translate into the league. because the pass rush in the NFL is way tougher than it is in college. And then obviously the learning curve, the mental learning curve of playing quarterback. You draft a guy like Jaden Daniels, you allow him to sit under Aaron Rodgers. If you see what Jordan Love has been or what he's becoming, you can tell that having a guy like Aaron in a quarterback room may actually work. It may help some growth. Now, obviously, he's not doing that. It didn't do that much for Zach, but different circumstances, different situations. Couple months.
Not talking about Jordan Love like this a couple weeks ago, man.
If I go and get, then you go and you bolster. I think you obviously make the trade for Devontae, but I think we need veterans on the O-line. I don't want no rookie on the O-line. I want veterans on the O-line. I want guys who can plug and play right now because you're going in with Aaron Rodgers for another year, and we still have to do two things. I think the Jets have to do two things. Maximize this last year or two with Aaron Rodgers and be prepared that once Aaron Rodgers is out the door, there is not this long bridge of a mockery until we're ever a contender again post Aaron Rodgers. We do not want to be left at the altar looking stupid if we don't win the championship or anything like that. So I think that's what needs to be done. And also, too, I'm going to be honest. Nobody really said this except Drew mentioned it and Manny mentioned it. But none of y'all said, when we firing Joe Douglas? When we firing Joe Douglas?
It's not going to happen this season.
When we firing Joe Douglas, and I'm going to be honest, I low-key want to fire Robert Saleh, too. Because at the end of the day,
they aren't going to get fired, J-Rob.
At the end of the day, it's the two of them who have to make sometimes the hardest decisions and not care about the backlash or whose feelings you hurt. And to me, you wasted an entire locker room of talent over this kid that y'all wanted more than anything to pan out.
I think Robert
you ruined the year because of that. And maybe Robert felt like he couldn't do it, but
yeah,
Robert,
he couldn't. I think Robert.
But I don't want to hear that. You're the head coach. You make final say. You can say
his hands were tied, bro.
If they fire you over you not wanting to start Zach Wilson, you know how much backlash the Jets organization would get. Do you know how much backlash the organization would get if that would be one of the main reasons why him getting fired would be? So I'm not going to lie. The Jets have so many things we have to fix going into the future and right now. And so I think we got to hone in on making sure we secure our future, not just securing the next 2 years or really one season.
Yeah, J-Rob, the only reason I didn't mention the front office, I don't think they were going to get fired. I just don't think so.
Neither of the coaches.
That's the only thing, because if you kept Joe Douglas after this, after Zach Wilson, and I always felt like, I think you mentioned it too at some point earlier in the season, that it felt like Saleh had to put him out there. Like he felt like he didn't really have a choice. And I guess it's just a dichotomy of knowing how much maybe Robert Saleh had power in terms of, at least in terms of quarterback decision in the building. So that's why I just sat there. I was like, I don't think so.
Can I ask you a question, Random? Let me ask you a question. Actually, I guess maybe it's for the whole group. Be dead honest with me. If the Jets waived or cut Zach Wilson, do you think any one of the 31 other NFL teams are going to add him to their roster?
No. Yeah. Also, J-Rob, let me ask you. J-Rob, let me ask you a question. J-Rob, hold on, guys. Let me ask J-Rob a question. J-Rob, have you also not seen times where you've seen head coaches be handicapped by their front offices or their owners saying, I want you to start this player? Or we were literally arguing about the fact that with the Panthers, that the owner wanted Bryce Wilson while the coach and the general manager wanted CJ Stroud. Like whether or not you don't, I understand, maybe you don't want to hear this, but we see that if your boss tells you, hey, I want this done, you have to do it, or else you lose your job. Because these NFL head coaching jobs don't just come up for everybody, especially somebody like Frank Reich, who's already been fired from a job. I'm just saying, J-Rob.
That's true. No, that's true. That's true. Let's move on. I appreciate y'all. You know, I had to talk about my Jets, man. It gets hard out here.
I want you to be happy. W therapy session.
Me and J-Rob deserve to be happy, bro.
Bro. I feel like we deserve. Yeah, this was
I'm a Falcons fan. I'm a Falcons fan.
I don't know, man.
Bro, I don't want to hear it.
You're my brother, J-Rob.
I can't. You gotta understand.
You don't even want to rub J-Rob's back. Him and Manny deserve some closure. You talking about
Yeah, we need some.
Wait,
we need
first of all,
composure.
stop. Because that was slander. Number one, I thought we were talking about the Zach Wilson starting thing only. I didn't know it was going to be an actual question about what we would do as a GM.
Well, you
so it's a
literally
good question.
said
I
that.
took it
You
back.
literally said
I
that
took
in
it back.
the
Number two. No. Stop.
Hold on.
Let
I
me
want to
say
get to the
one
next
thing.
topic. I want to get to the next topic, though. It's not that deep. It's not that deep. It's all good. I want to get to the next
Jesus
topic.
Christ, you so emotional, Michael.
Yeah, it's
No,
the next
it's
topic.
just
Drew, we'll start with you. Drew,
Tom Cruise.
I think he
Drew,
got
we'll start with you.
bro. It's not
Drew,
that.
Drew, we'll start with you. We'll start with you, Drew. After the Cowboys win over the Seahawks, my brother, how confident are you in this Cowboys team to reach their first NFC title game since, the 90s?
I'll tell you what. I was gonna say. I don't want to say 98. NFC was that 98?
95. I think it was 98. I think it was 98.
Holy, I wasn't even born yet. Holy.
Now, why are we talking about this?
I wasn't even a thought. No cap.
Facts early. I agree.
How confident am I? I would put it at like it's a coin toss for the idea of if we look at that defense for the Cowboys, I feel like it's a little bit too inconsistent where we've seen games where they lock down, but then they go up against Seattle and it's going down to the offense to have to bury them out of that hole right there. But it's been a lot of stat padding also. That's not a slight to Dak Prescott. They're beating up on these bad teams like they should, but they're going a little bit overboard where I think that it's inflating a little bit of numbers from Dak Prescott, but that's not a knock. He's balling out. But to reach the NFC title game, that's a good question because if we were having conversations, make it out of the NFC, that's where I'd be like, nah, this is going to be the Niners to make it out. But they could beat Philadelphia because Philadelphia's defense is not good. I wouldn't even go as far as say it's average. It's not good.
Who said that?
This boy cooking. I wonder who said that. Who said that?
Their secondary is pretty bad. Their linebackers are bad. They brought in Shaq Leonard. Hopefully, he's able to come in and do a job. But their run,
don't say.
Don't make me
He
laugh.
early got cooked for that last week.
But the run defense has been solid. Jalen Carter coming in, he's a different beast. He should be defensive rookie of the year. He's amazing. But this offense where Jalen Hurts is getting slack and it's mind-boggling to me because if he's not at 100%, this is not a championship level team. This is not a team that's contending to win the NFC.
I wonder who said that. You don't say. Exactly.
You look at that Bills game. Look at that Bills game. Look at the Bills game. First half, the offense was nowhere to be found. They were getting blown out. Second half, Jalen Hurts turns it on. They go and they win that game in overtime. But it wasn't until Jalen Hurts turned it on that they were actually able to win the game.
Sam Howell owns them.
I wouldn't say owns, but he plays OD against that Philadelphia defense, and that's not
the Commanders, bro. It's just certain teams you play good versus.
Two times that they've played, and he's gone for over 300. Nah, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's not so much about Sam, who I like. It's more so about this Eagles defense that's not good. So to make it to the NFC title game, I'll give it a 50-50 chance, but it's going to be between them or the Eagles. I think San Francisco's a lock to make it there. But if the Cowboys have to face San Francisco before getting there, it's over. They're not making it to the title game.
I don't think the Cowboys beat the Packers. I'm not gonna hold you.
Can I say?
Yo, but what I was gonna say though.
Yo, hey man, you might be spitting. Hey man,
What I was gonna say though.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I said 2 weeks ago. I said 2 weeks ago that I believe in the Cowboys. I know people were like, "Oh, why you believe in the Cowboys? Why you believe?" This is the best football I've ever seen Dak play in my life, bro. I'm not lying to you.
Okay,
I won't be mad at that. I won't be mad at that. I just
Can I say something? Can I say something, please?
This is the bro, and this is the thing
for me.
This is the thing. The thing with the Eagles is, I feel like, to me, like when you run the ball at them, they're not as dominant as you would perceive them to be.
Nope,
they're not. When you run the ball at Micah Parsons, at him, like directly at him, see you, 50 yards downfield. I just don't know when he goes against sometimes elite blockers. And they run to that side.
Can I ask you a question, Manny? This Cowboys team doesn't give you that 2020 Bills schedule.
Yeah, facts. It does a little bit.
The schedule was so
but they went
trash.
to the championship game, though. They went to the championship game.
Yeah, that's true, too. That's also true, too.
That
might be a good thing. It might be a good thing.
Lions have had a worse schedule.
Giants are not a good team.
I think if Dallas
barely beat the Chargers.
If Dallas doesn't see San Fran, I think they go to the NFC Championship. If they don't see San Fran.
Okay. Can I just say my take? Because
you're the Cowboys fan. Go ahead.
And look. Shout out to all Cowboys fans, but guys, no, not an NFC Championship game yet. No,
Why
they have
not?
not been consistent enough. They've not been consistent enough. The offense has played great. It's on a great
Played enough
stretch.
good talent.
We're talking about a defense that just isn't consistent. And, as much as I really don't like what you said about the Michael Parsons thing, I think you're overblowing it a little too much. Yes, in the run stuff and up here, it still needs to be there. My thing, though, is about Michael Parsons, okay? He's played great this season. It's not a knock on Michael Parsons that this defense has played inconsistent. There's a lot of other guys that play bad. AKA, wait. Jaron Kearse is not the same player he was. We're talking about a guy that led this secondary the past 2 years. He made their defense very good. He's just not moving the same. He's injured. He can't get to angles in pursuit in the short game as well. And in the run game, he's just not the same hard hitter he was. The coverage is a little bit scary. I will say, as much as I've always had concerns about their coverage, they played 3 games in 11 days against Pete Carroll, who knew exactly what Dan Quinn wanted to do because Dan Quinn was birthed by Pete Carroll. So that's why I think we saw them go insane. Now, I do think that they played well and the Cowboys played bad. But like the Charbonnet run, the 40-yard stuff, like that game plan was very good, as well as DK dominating. But for me, when we look at the playoffs, I think that Cowboys will come and surprise people in Jerry World because this is going to be their Super Bowl this season. They need this W. This team is playing for Dak Prescott winning MVP as well. They bought into him. So I think both teams show up in this game. It's going to be great. But in the playoffs, man, no, I don't trust this team enough. I don't trust Mike McCarthy enough against the top-level defenses, man. I really don't. I just don't, man. Until I see an NFC Championship, until I see them make it, it's a no for me. It just will always be.
That's what we say. Can they make it?
Monologue of hurt.
Hey, actually,
go ahead.
Actually, let me go last because I have a crazy hypothetical because you know who they're gonna match up in the first round. But if
the Falcons,
I want to go last.
Oh, you guys are not beating us, dude. You guys are not beating us. I hate this stuff.
Oh my God, Desmond Ritter in the playoffs.
Oh, damn, you a Falcons.
Hey, J-Rock, can you repeat the question?
Makes a lot of sense.
Pretty much, do you think the Cowboys are going to?
What you mean their quarterback away too?
Wait, you said what?
The Cowboys are going to go to NFC Championship.
Go ahead, Random.
I will say this. I'm also in the agreement of where Mike is. I'd rather just see it. I've seen Dak, whether it's some crazy pass by Aaron Rodgers or just underperforming or anything like that. I just got to see. I got no faith that the Cowboys can actually do it, especially if they see the 49ers, because if they see the 49ers, we know what's going to happen. They're clipped, and when I raised my voice at Michael on Sunday, I'm like, you're talking about Dak who ain't never beat the 49ers, who ain't never beat the 49ers during his tenure at all in the playoffs or not. Even that one time when Jimmy G was selling so bad, Kyle Shanahan had the game plan around his quarterback to win the game, and they still couldn't find a way to win that one. So I'd rather just see it. I need to see it before I feel you though.
I don't
Go
think
ahead. Go ahead, Trent.
I mean, again, like, bro, I just gotta see it to believe it. I can't really comment on whether they're gonna make it out. Like, again, I gotta see it to
frauds,
believe it.
bro. Like,
I gotta see it to believe with the Cowboys, and I gotta see it to believe the 49ers to finally win something. Both in the same boat.
Yeah, the thing is, I gotta feel the
they're
same way.
so fraudish, bro.
They both gotta see it to believe it, bro.
So let me ask you this: what team not named the Eagles in the NFC do you think could actually like upset the San Francisco 49ers in the playoff game? Remember, it's a 1-0.
Hey, I got one.
Zero.
Hold on.
Trey, you see what I mean? You see what I mean?
I'm sorry,
I'm not gonna lie. Detroit got a pretty good offensive
team
line.
has a shot, man.
Detroit got a pretty good offensive line.
There's one team. There's one team.
Detroit got a pretty good offensive line, bro.
So there's one team that I'm gonna put up there. I don't think they will. But chance, like the one that I think could have a chance. Everything goes right.
Seattle.
Yeah. Hey, someone said in the chat. the Los Angeles Rams can make things very interesting in the playoffs against the San Francisco 49ers. I'm just saying, bro. Matthew Stafford coming out doing his business. Ever since Kyron Williams got back on the team, that offense has been cooking, bro. Like,
bro, that's because he's on his fantasy team. You've seen him say that.
He's not on my fantasy team. I wish he was, bro. I swear to God, I wish he was.
Bro,
what's up? No, I'm serious. I think the Rams could be like one of the probably the only team I can think of other than the Eagles that can really just upset the 49ers.
I guess maybe the Rams have to really shock the world. They're 6-6 right now.
Nah, you know,
MVP that much early. What do you think this is?
Did Stafford miss a game or two?
The Rams lose. If the 49ers lose in the first round of the playoffs,
Brady's cook.
When I say you boys are fried rice, hibachi style,
fried cooked ham
with yum sauce on the side, y'all are.
J-Rob,
more like white rice, eggs.
J-Rob, keep that same energy if that happens to the Eagles too and the Cowboys.
I'm not an Eagles fan. I'm not an Eagles fan.
I would say the Eagles have the best shot.
That's all I'm gonna say.
I just believe the 49ers.
It's okay, man.
I just feel like the 49ers have not won a Super Bowl in this era, and we need to.
Since I've been born, I felt like.
Yeah, I feel like they get treated like a dynasty. I just don't like that they get treated like a dynasty. So I guess
J-Rob, they're just a better version of the Cowboys. That's what it is.
What do you mean having a Jets fan?
You're a Panthers fan.
I'm a Patriots fan. Y'all can't say nothing.
Okay, look.
It is
what
it is.
There's no way you just told me that right now.
Deb, go
ahead, Deb. Go ahead, Deb.
It's not the Falcons, Don't worry, it's not the Falcons. They've been playing real high. High in this quarterback in the future. I think the Green Bay Packers, if they make the playoffs, are one of the scariest teams.
Dad, you coming from a hot, Dad. Oh, I love Georgia.
The reason why
I know the Packers are the youngest. I know the Packers are the youngest team in football, right?
I said that yesterday.
Open field, they're the youngest
team in the NFL.
They're not doing it in the playoffs.
We're gonna see.
I agree. They're the youngest team in the playoffs.
Very talented future, but I think we should relax on them.
It's just the O-line.
I just think the
Packers O-line have been playing better. They played really good against the Chiefs.
But against like the Niners, bro, or the Cowboys, like the Cowboy, like here's the thing: the Cowboys' defensive line, it's just against the great O-lines, it really, really struggles. But against O-lines that aren't as good, where like they physically match up really well, bro, that's the thing. And the one thing I want to see the Eagles do or the Cowboys do against the Eagles real quick. Michael Parsons interior in the middle, because the interior defensive line just is getting off of their positioning in the pass rush. So I want to see Michael Parsons kind of playing spy on Jalen Hurts and just being a menace there on passing downs, specifically passing downs. Running downs, I'm worried about that, but pass downs, I feel like that will help him.
So
we have back rushers.
My next question to y'all. Let's see how much I've been paying attention to what's going on in college football. Who do you think will be the biggest NFL draft risers that people need to know about now before the draft starts?
Okay. Do you mean with that question? Let me ask you. Do they have to be known already? Like if they're known,
they don't gotta be known. They don't gotta be known already. But when I say draft riser, like even if they like late first, but they may end up going top 10, like it don't gotta be. But a name that you can see shooting up draft boards because it always happens. There's
because Manny can attest. Like no one had Jaden Daniels as a first round pick. Sure. No one did.
I did.
Go ahead, Manny.
I was gonna say somebody. Damn, a person I think could really shoot up people draft boards. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think to me, Marvin Harrison and Malik Neighbors, to me, they were the best two wide receivers in the country. But I think people know him, but I think he's gonna shoot above Malik because I think when he gets to the combine and people see his size and the way he runs route and his speed and his ability, Keon Coleman. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Keon Coleman. He's OD.
We talking about Florida State, right?
Yeah. Once he said size, I was like, yeah, he's talking about Keon.
They got nothing but size in Florida State.
The world right now is Michael Penix's oyster. He's in the playoff. He beats Texas. If he wins a championship,
I love him too.
You could argue that he's been the best quarterback in college football this year in terms of just how he's played. You could argue that, and I'm telling you. We've all seen that. We've all seen that quarterback that you look at a whole season, and all of a sudden, if he wins it all, we talking about Michael Penix going top 10. That's all I'm saying.
No, you're not. But
talking about Michael Penix going top 10.
He got 4 surgery, and
if he wins it all.
If he
Go ahead,
obviously plays well.
Go ahead,
I
Trent.
want to hear some conversation.
I'll go with a sleeper, and I'll go because I'm gonna have my bias in because it was my former teammate before I had to retire. But
Golden
Patrick Paul is one of the best offensive linemen that we're gonna see in this league. He's 6'7", 320.
Nice.
Out of Houston.
Yes.
Yeah.
J-Rob moves ridiculous, and he's almost a center in the league for real.
Right,
like, bro is really 6. I think his whole college career he only gave up 2 sacks.
Wow,
and that's like second team All American. What's his name just released? He got that. He's one of the best tackles in the league. And when he gets
he's nasty.
He gets scared, he's probably like a late second or like somebody like the Dallas Cowboys. Somebody one of these teams pick him up. He would be a day one.
I would love
that.
I would love that pick
guy.
I would love
He's going to be one of the best tackles in the league.
But he might not fall out of the first round though. That's the problem. I don't think we'll be able to get
another
him.
person I was gonna say.
He might be.
I don't know if he's gonna go. I hope he goes. Is Brian Thomas, bro? He's another one, bro. Brian Thomas Jr. from LSU, the receiver. If
I got
it.
He's not.
My bad, Manny. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
No, you good, bro. You good, bro.
No, I got a name for y'all that I think is going to rise up draft boards. Right now, he's declared to go back to college. But I think Quinn Ewers is going to go on a 2-game run. I think Quinn Ewers has all the potential to go on a 2-game run of his entire football life.
He wins the Natty. He's fucking.
And I'll be honest. Listen, as somebody who was a skeptic of Quinn Ewers going into this season, I have to admit, as somebody who don't get lost in arm talent, as somebody who generally doesn't get lost in arm talent, that boy throw a pretty pass.
Oh wait, yo, J-Rob.
He throws a pretty. He's nice. He throws a pretty. He throws a pretty pass. Got a lot of arm talent.
J-Rob, I totally forgot. What's the thing? Because of the agenda I got. Because I think he's going. We've seen quarterbacks in a year or so take a huge leap. I generally believe if Jalen Miro get the mechanics fixed right, his passing ability.
Could be one.
Yeah, he could be one. He could be one.
But next year,
that nigga
QB1 over
Shador. You're not watching football. You're a Lamar fan. You're a Lamar fan.
I'm not even the biggest Jalen Miro guy, but he runs like Lamar. He runs like the speed is.
He's a bigger Lamar. He's bigger than Lamar.
I don't know if he'll go over Shador though.
I think Shador would be one.
He's better than Shador.
Who's better than Shador?
No,
Jalen Milroe.
I don't think he is better.
If Shador played for Alabama,
no, he's not, bro.
Come on, dog. Please.
Bro,
Jalen Milroe is better than Shador Sanders.
Please,
Shador's better.
Alabama, dog.
Shador's better than Jalen Milroe. Y'all are, bro. Stop with that
Like, come on.
Bro, he's a better quarterback. Right now, he's a better quarterback than Jalen Milroe.
I'm not saying Jalen Milroe.
I better thank God he played with Colorado right now.
Let me try to tell you. I'm not saying Jalen Milroe is better than Shador. I think right now Shador clears him. But I'm saying if he fixes his passing ability because his running game is OD, I think he can hit fast.
But Trent, hold on. Early.
Joe Burrow did it.
Jaden Daniels did it. Jaden Daniels just did it.
Wait. Come out. But Trent, I asked you about this season. This is another thing that's going to dock points for the debaters.
You just brought up Quinn Ewers next year.
Hey,
I said he might be able to draft.
He said if he wins the Natty and he goes this year.
This year's draft.
He's not going. He's staying.
Oh, J-Ro, I do.
Nah, if he wins the Natty, Trent, he's gone. If he wins the Natty,
you tell me if you don't win the Natty, somebody not protecting him.
Wait, but don't you have to announce before January something?
No,
I think you could.
Isn't it January something?
No. What I'm saying, the reason why I brought up Quinn Ewers, Trent, is because what I'm saying is, I think it's smoke and mirrors. I think it's smoke and mirrors to think that he's going back to Texas. If he knock off Washington and then knocks off an Alabama or a Michigan, I think either or teams with the amount of NFL talent, he gotta be. Because at the end of the day, bro, I'm gonna be honest. First of all, he's coming in, Trent, with when they do the 24/7 sports rivals, he's the only quarterback in the history of the game to have a 1.0000. Only perfect grade ever at the position. If he goes and throws magnificently in these next 2 games, I don't see no world, Trent, where he's not going to be projected to be a top 5 pick. I think he would leap Drake May, and I think he would leap Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels just because of what he's already walking potential he's came
I'm not
in
mad at
with
that. I'm not mad at
versus
that.
what he
I'm
brought.
not really mad at that, though.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm not talking about the,
I thought you were
No,
talking
but
about
you
next
but,
year.
but also Trent, but also J-Rob, you got to also look. Isn't that like if Quinn Ewers was to come and win the Natty this year and do what he does, wouldn't that be better for Texas too? Because you got Arch next year. Wouldn't it kind of be better?
It would be phenomenal for Texas because they don't even have to hear about it. They wouldn't have to hear about it. You telling me that?
Name my two guys? I got two guys.
All right, there's two guys I want to go to random.
That was early.
Go ahead.
They do look like they are cousins.
Yeah,
They are
two
cousins,
guys
they are
I like. I like Dallas Turner, and I love
that's
Xavier
a great
Legette that plays for South Carolina.
Great. Xavier Legette.
I'm watching his games,
No ball,
man.
no ball.
You like Rattler?
Not really.
I think a lot of people sleeping on Rattler, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
I think it was hard to evaluate him this season because of how bad South Carolina's offensive line was.
And what hurts Rattler,
Yeah, I know. I like Xavier Legette though. I think
a lot of people don't.
I'm not taking a pick on Rattler.
I think a lot of people sometimes look at his outside because a lot of people didn't like Spencer Rattler off the QB1 dot because he looked like a straight asshole. So but he can ball. He can
Go ahead, Dave. What's your guy? What guys do we need to be looking out for?
Me and Jared, we talked about this before, but I like Cooper DeJean, the corner out of Iowa.
He's a football player.
And I also like what's the name? The receiver out of Washington, Romeo. I think his I think if he performs in the playoffs, I feel like his stock will go up higher. I don't think he's gonna go. I don't think he's gonna draft ahead of Malik Neighbors.
Something.
But I feel like he'll get. He potentially could be a target for the Titans.
I would take Rome over Neighbors. I'm not gonna lie. I think Rome is better than Neighbors. I'm not going to front.
So that's
Nah.
I think Rome better than Neighbors.
I'm gonna tell you why. Before we go on a crazy tangent here,
I'm gonna tell you why.
Rome is crazy.
He don't line up in the slot. Rome don't go in that slot. He don't move to that slot.
Wait, can I get my two guys?
That's not his fault though. That's not his fault. Go ahead, Michael.
And then Lonnie, I got
too versatile.
I'll make it short. As much as Adunze gets credit, I
love
that guy. He's so good. I'm taking. I just think when I'm talking about risers, I really like Polk, and I like McMillan for real. I think if they show out in the playoff, I would really like the Cowboys to pick him up mid draft in the mid
Jalen Polk?
Try to pick one of those two. But Polk specifically because I just really like his route running and speed. But I'm not mad at McMillan either. I don't know if I think Polk will probably be better out of the two if I were to guess.
But what about that?
I just want to give credit to those guys.
What about that kid that goes to your school though?
Franklin's cool, but I just feel like he relies a lot on his speed and like
that man is a
know if it's gonna translate. What? And like
Hey, Drew, make sure you go next because the chat will have my head. If I
I'm not saying he's not an elite receiver for college.
W guess, man.
I'm just respecting y'all, and y'all are giving us some good opinions right now.
God damn.
I just really like those two receivers. I got to give them credit.
You like Blake Corum?
Go ahead, Drew. What you thinking? Who's on?
I tell you what, before the Harbaugh suspension, JJ McCarthy definitely was rising on my boards, and then he got suspended, and we've seen him be who people thought that he wasn't. No doubt about it. But I think JJ is going to declare regardless, and I think with the way that he was playing early on in the season, some people had him going as a top 10 quarterback too. But I think with the way that he's played the last few weeks, no, he's not. He's not, unfortunately. I think the guy that I'll go, you guys mentioned Jaden Daniels, no doubt. I mean, there's been no player that's increased his draft stock more. I like Johnny Wilson. I think 6'7" is probably going to run around that 4.45, that 4.5. I mean, with that size, with that speed. I mean, come on, bro. I mean, Johnny Wilson. Keon Coleman's getting all the attention for sure because he's a more complete wide receiver, but Johnny Wilson with that size, and I think he can definitely rise his draft stock at the combine, but there's very few that have the physical traits that Johnny. 6'7". 6'7".
That's crazy.
But his hand, but to be 6'7", your hand's not that good.
He do. Yo,
is he like a DK Metcalf? Is that what you're talking
I do have some concerns about Johnny Wilson, though, Drew.
His hands are not good.
No,
like DK.
Not that fast.
But again, he's
not
still very young.
Wait. Let him finish. Go ahead, Drew. Go ahead.
No, who is he? 22 years old, still young. Probably won't be. He'll probably get drafted after a lot of these top guy receivers. But again, I think where he can still rise is the combine, where people become infatuated with physical traits. I think that Johnny still, where there are the concerns with the hands, he can still grow into that as long as you put him in the right situation.
And Drew, let me ask you one more question while you're here, because this has been a big topic on the show, on the last few shows. What were your thoughts on the college football playoffs and FSU being left out of the playoffs? How did that make you feel? What did you think about that whole scenario?
I thought it was crazy as hell that Georgia won 29 straight games and was just not even in the conversation after losing to Bama. I think Bama making it, there's definitely a case. They beat, 5 top 15 teams, and they beat the number 1 team in the country. But FSU going undefeated and not making it is wrong. It's wrong. I think that I understand it's not the sexy team, right? I've been seeing a lot of people have a lot of passionate feelings towards this. But again, the narrative was there for Bama. They did just beat the number 1 team in the country, but it also just looks bad on the committee's part where a team went perfect and they're not being represented. It's
got
just
it wrong.
leading for more discussion to go from 4 to 8 teams next season, and it's just gonna be a lot better football. But this was
12
definitely
teams. 12 teams.
Apologize.
J-Rob, I don't know if you've paid attention to any of like the stories that have come out. They've even been committee members that like, it sucks that we have to do this. I can't remember the lady exactly, but it was all over ESPN.
Facts.
So the easiest thing, I always said this: Florida State was always the odd man out when you compare if all 5 Power 5s went undefeated. They were going to be the odd man out. But the minute Jordan Travis got hurt, like that was it for them. And like I argue with Manny and other people, I'm like, people said Washington shouldn't make it. And I was like, there's nothing in Florida State's resume that is better than Washington. Nothing at all. So Florida State was always the odd man out, and Jordan Travis getting hurt was their excuse to keep him out.
But let me ask you this, Drew. Do you believe, and this is why I've argued with most of them up here, is I understand FSU is out, but the committee's job is to go for the 4 best teams. And you just referenced Georgia winning 28 consecutive games. In your heart, Drew, do you think Florida State was one of the 4 best schools in the country? From what you've seen, and as constructed, you got to consider without Jordan Travis. So this is as they are with their second string quarterback.
I'm gonna say no. With the way that we've seen Washington play football, we have Penix in the conversation for the Heisman, no doubt. I think Washington deserves it. Texas definitely clutched at the end, but at the same time, you got to give respect. Yeah, it's not that good. It's not that good.
That's what I tell people.
I think Georgia dropping from 1 to 6 was a little bit crazy, although they definitely were teetering along the line all season long. I wasn't the highest on Georgia. I still don't think that they were this most dominant team, but them dropping out of the top 4 is a little bit crazy.
Hey, J-Rob, they said we was crazy when we was asking all those questions.
We said that too, Drew. We said that they shouldn't have been the number 1 team as long as they were throughout the season because they didn't look like the best team.
No doubt. I think you look at Ohio State. You look at a Michigan. Go ahead, bro.
So I do want to. I never got.
Okay, go ahead. Let me ask you this real quick, Drew. So hypothetically, because these guys up here still think if Jordan Travis was there, they will make it. So with the 55 overall strength of schedule, you still think FSU get in with Jordan Travis? Because that's what's hanging. That's what I'm looking at. That's that strength of schedule being 55 overall, bro. Texas, like you said, they went through trash. So you could say the same thing with FSU. So it's like if you go undefeated with a weak strength of schedule, like how much
the committee literally said
we've also seen that throughout time. And then also after last season where TCU got absolutely smoked and they didn't look like they belonged in that national championship, I feel like maybe the committee had a little bit of let me not say voter fatigue, but at the same time they saw how bad exactly. They weren't trying to have a repeat of last year. I feel like that's why they left FSU. And with Texas winning their championship, I mean, at the same time, you couldn't leave Texas out of there. But it's tough. FSU definitely going undefeated. There's a strong case. We've seen bad teams make it, but yeah, with a bad strength of schedule or bad team, you understand what I'm saying? The in terms of schedule, but with a backup to the backup quarterback, there's with Travis. No, with Travis, even still, I feel like that would have helped their case for sure. It would have helped their case.
No, you think with Travis they get in though, right, Drew?
I think they do get in. I think with the backup to the backup, they weren't going to allow it to happen.
Big reason why we say that, Drew, Bama, big reason why we say that is the committee literally mentioned it and why they took Florida State out. They literally mentioned it.
I understand. And I agree. I think, but with Travis,
this is why I push back like this, Random. Check me out, Drew. This is why I'm pushing back, right? Because if Jordan Travis was healthy, y'all just sit up there and said Texas would have got hold, right? because they scheduled.
No, I think Bama would have got hold.
I think Bama would have been out.
I think Bama would have got
hold. It would have been
hold.
the only year in the 14 playoff where the SEC doesn't make it. This would have been the one.
Because you got to put this in perspective, Ben. Like no bias side, because you are a huge diehard Bama fan. If Jordan Travis stays, they're going to be 3, and you can't put Bama.
They might be 2. They might be 2.
It'd probably be 2. Either way, you can't put Bama and Texas beat y'all head to head. So literally, it would be y'all have been out, even though.
Yeah, but I don't believe that's true though, because how could you ever leave out the winner of the SEC? In what way would they ever leave out
they beat the winner of the SEC though?
No, because
bro, we've had national championships before. We had a playoff where it was always 2 SEC. They were putting 2 teams in the same conference in the
national. When you look at the criteria, when you look at the 4 points that the committee made, FSU passed every point except the last one. They had an injured player. So I think if they have that not an injured player, they pass all 4 points.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. But I think the committee is showing a lot of disingenuousness because ultimately, I'm gonna be completely transparent. I'm kind of with Bama on this. I think the committee, no matter what, the Jordan Travis injury was almost like their bailout.
Yeah,
because I'm telling you 100%. There's nothing you could say to me without a shadow of a doubt. I'm willing to bet anything on it. That if Jordan Travis was still on that team and Alabama romps Georgia the way they did, and Texas obviously beating them, there was no way FSU was ever getting in, bro.
I don't know. Top 10 defense, bro, with a Heisman candidate.
I don't know how you do that. I don't know how I don't believe there's any, because Manny, the reason why I don't think that there was any role for Florida State, because the only role that would have been technically fair and right you would have had to have left out in the SEC. And I'm sorry, in no world is the committee leaving out the Southeastern Conference from any title game or any chance at a national title. And let's be real about the other schools. FSU is not a bigger brand than Texas, whether you want to hear that or not. They're not. Nope. Washington beat Oregon twice in potentially the most competitive conference in football this past year. And we all consider, and everybody considers the Big Ten. They beat Oregon twice.
No, not Washington. What was Oregon's best win? What was Oregon's best win? Utah?
Bro, it doesn't matter, Manny. We could do this for every single team, bro. The Washington deserved it. Washington.
No, I didn't say Washington.
That's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is Washington was in a conference that was considered probably the 3rd toughest conference this year. Big Ten was considered probably the 2nd hardest to the SEC. So those 3 conferences, I think we all knew going into the year, whoever ran the table in those 3 conferences, one loss or not, we're going to get in. The conversation was going to be, the Florida State was going to be the odd man out because they're one. And listen, I think the real question you need to have a conversation, go blame Dabo. Blame Clemson for being trash. Blame Brian Kelly for LSU being a Big 12 team this year. Blame the SEC. Blame the SEC for not recruiting good enough recruits to make the conference competitive. This is a Power 5 conference that nobody respects. So at the end of the day, that's nobody's fault that they're not one of the 4 best teams. And I keep trying to tell y'all the committee's job ain't fairness. It's putting the best 4 teams in football. And man, you could tell me about that top 10. You can tell me about that top 10 defense till I'm blue in the face, bro. They're not one of the best 4 teams in the country.
There's no way Jordan Travis teams in the country.
Manny, this is the one season where the Pac-12 was going to get in automatically. You can't tell me
they're not, though. Yo, Trent, with Jordan Travis, they're not a top 4 team in the country. They're not. With Jordan Travis, that defense, and Keon Coleman, Johnny, that team's not a top 4 team.
You don't hear because I never, bro. I don't.
Trent, without a shadow of a doubt, Trent, without a shadow of a doubt, with Jordan Travis, let's just say with Jordan Travis, let me ask you this question. Without a shadow of a doubt, from what you've seen this season and knowing the competition these teams have played, do you think without a shadow of a doubt FSU is clearly, like when I say clearly, like clearly better?
Yeah, like clearly top 4
than Georgia, Ohio State, or even Oregon?
No.
I'll
say this. I hate to make this nasty argument.
I hate to be that person.
Out of all the top teams, bro, Florida State was one of the top teams. I'm talking about all the top teams. When I say all the top teams, I mean Ohio State, Oregon, Washington, all your top teams. Ole Miss, bro. It was no point in the season where
Please stop
Florida
bringing
State
up Ole
looked like a
Miss.
juggernaut, bro.
bring
It was
them
no.
up?
You're
It was,
bugging. That
fucking
first
matter.
game of the season, they look like a juggernaut.
bro, that first game of the
Bro,
season,
if
bro,
they have
was
Jordan
a
Travis,
testament
they
to
would
what
look like a
J-Rob
fucking
did.
juggernaut.
Brian Kelly
You
is
guys
a
are not
numbnut, bro.
consistent.
He's
The
a
college
bum.
football rankings isn't consistent,
He's a
baby. That's
bum.
my
That's the
problem.
point.
They
That's the
bled in
point of
teams
it,
from the
Michael.
Pac-12
They
when
look
they've
better versus
sucked.
LSU than y'all.
And undefeated, and you guys are talking like
they let it know
They
that
look
they
better
let it know
versus
that they
LSU than Bama.
Manny. This is the thing. This is the thing. This is the thing that you're forgetting.
never
Even
consistent,
after
bro.
Jordan
That's the
Travis got hurt, they still had 2 weeks to show
They
that
had none.
they could.
When we're talking about Jordan Travis not being hurt, we're talking about him not being hurt.
Ohio State found a way to do
So
it.
why are
okay?
you coming at me when we're talking about him not being hurt?
I'm not gonna lie.
No,
When it
no.
comes to, okay, hold on, real quick. Let me
Why
say this
you?
real quick. Brandon,
Oh
let me
my
say this.
God! Why
Brandon,
are you
let me say
just
this. Let me say this.
ignoring that?
Because to me, I'm not gonna lie.
Say this
Florida
last
State
point,
missing the
Trent, 'cause we gotta
playoffs.
slide some
It's kind of that. It's simple why they miss, but it is wrong. Because the only time I only feel bad for the players because you went through all that fall camp shit.
Facts.
Oh, I'd have been sick. I'd have been
You
sick.
did perfect. Hold on, you did perfect as a player. I feel it. You did perfect. You didn't make it. But if you have to look, it will be different for these past 2 weeks. What's the name? Them backup quarterbacks looking like Cardale Jones.
We're not talking about
If
the
they was
backup.
looking like that, they would have made it. But they did. They look like trash.
Yeah,
They
they
didn't
were
look like a
But
top.
they had a
They were asking me a question if Jordan Travis was on the team.
Manny, hold up. Are you Manny? Look me dead in my face and tell me these past 2 weeks has Florida State looked like a top 15 team in the country?
Nah. Defensively, yes. Offense, nah. No, but that's not what I know. Because J-Rob asked me literally.
No, I was saying that even with Jordan Travis,
if Jordan Travis was on the team, if he was playing,
if Jordan Travis was on the team, they make the college football playoff. But I don't think they're a top 4 team in the country.
But no, Trent. What me and Bama were saying that even with Jordan Travis, I still don't think they would have gotten in. I just think the committee had a great excuse. I think they had a great excuse.
I would have liked to hear their. I would have liked to hear their argument for that.
Because I just like I said, my question is this: is Jordan? Are they putting in a Jordan Travis FSU over the winner of the SEC? Because that's the odd man out. No, they're not.
No, but this is the thing. But then it's Texas. You got to look at Texas because Texas beat Bama head to head. So you're gonna discount.
No, stop saying Bama. Stop talking about the side of the helmet.
And
listen
that was
what
also
J-Rob
hella
said.
long ago.
Yeah, y'all not hearing what I'm
get
saying.
in over the winner of the SEC.
Yeah, listen to what I'm saying.
Winner of the, and y'all keep talking about Texas beat Bama at Bama. Just take that helmet off of it.
Yeah,
that's the reason why they got in.
No, the reason why they got in, they won the SEC.
That's the reason why Texas got in. If Texas, that's the reason why Texas got in.
Yeah, they not because
they beat y'all. So what do you mean?
No, they beat a SEC juggernaut. They not talking about the side of the helmet, bro. They beat somebody. They beat a top tier team from the SEC. Y'all keep getting hung up on Alabama, bro.
Yeah, Manny, that's not what we're saying. That's not what we're saying. That's not what we're saying.
At the end of the day, they looked at Texas. They beat the SEC champion. Alabama's only loss was to the Big 12 champion. We taking the sides of the helmets off of it right now, bro. That is why they got in. So they're taking the side of the helmet off. What you saying with Jordan Travis and how they limped through that whole schedule, even with Jordan Travis, means that a 13-0 Florida State with a weak schedule is better than the SEC champion. Whether it's Alabama, Georgia, whoever else, bro, a one-loss SEC champion, bro, that would be a criminal. That would be a crime.
I'm telling you, Florida State gets in. They left them out because of Travis.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, Manny, I'm just telling you right now, whether you believe this or not, if you truly in your heart believe if Jordan Travis was healthy, they would
get in. I believe it.
You are delusional because
how is that crazy? How is that, yo? I want to know.
Let me answer why you're delusional.
I want to know how that's crazy. Like I want to know.
I said you're being delusional.
I ain't gonna say it's crazy, but I'm gonna bring up a point of why.
I think it's a delusional. I think it's a delusional idea to think that the SEC will be, bro. If you think the SEC, who in the years of college football, man, you've been watching college football your whole life for the most part.
21 years, LSU fan.
21 year LSU. You've seen championships that have had two SEC schools in them.
Yeah,
same conference. What have been other one-loss teams in other conferences, even undefeated teams who didn't get to go to the BCS. True or false?
Thank you.
Very true. You already know the people who have decided the factors of the national champion put more stake into the SEC than they do any of the other 4 Power 5 conferences. So that has already been established through the history of college football. Now, you're telling me that with everything playing out the same way, and I'm with Bama, take the helmet. Let's take the helmet off.
Okay, I am taking the helmets off.
It could have been Oklahoma beating LSU, and then the same situation happening. And instead of Alabama getting in, it's LSU versus FSU. It could be the same situation. But they beat Georgia, who won 28 straight. They lost to Oklahoma in the start of the year, so they lost to the Big 12 champion. LSU would still get in over FSU because the history has told us that the way the committee in college sports values the SEC compared to every other conference in sports, it's not the same. And I can even give you an example of that.
It is.
Georgia and Alabama have played some of the easier schedules since winning national championships and still are given the same competitive grace compared to other teams because of not only the success that they have had, but the way the SEC is considered. So what I'm telling you is delusional to think FSU, who could barely beat Louisville, would get in over any SEC school with one loss, especially the way they finish, especially the way that we
Manny,
know.
you told me but you gave me Jordan Travis on the team. You gave me that. You said I'm
giving it to you. I'm giving it to you.
Okay, they beat the shit out of Louisville with him on the team. I'm talking like 40 zip.
Mm-hmm.
That's a blowout.
It's a blowout.
Blowout.
And I'm gonna tell you why they still couldn't.
Then you gotta look at. Then you gotta look at every.
They just beat a team in a championship. Hadn't lost a game in 2 years.
I know that.
And they beat them convincingly.
But just like you say, stop giving me that pass shit. Give me this year. Stop giving me the pass shit. Give me this year.
But that's how they've been.
They beat the number one team. I give it to Bama. They beat the number one team.
But
I give it to them.
To find someone's tendencies, bro, you have to go off the pass, bro. And if you go back based off of the BCS 2011, right? 2011, Oklahoma State had 4
pretty much.
first
Nick
place
State
votes.
telling you right now.
They had 4 first place votes back in 2011. They still
that's facts.
With only one first place vote. With only one. They still put LSU in after LSU beat Alabama and fumbled in the SEC championship. They still allowed them boys to go back in and play for a national.
My biggest thing with the committee is just
you're dragging this thing to the absolute.
What Oklahoma State was that they lost.
Michael, you can't get the fuck out.
Oklahoma State lost.
Okay, this is what I'm gonna say. My biggest thing with the committee, because I'm just going off what they tell us. Like every year is supposed to be a new year, so that's why mind you, once again, Manny, it just sucked. They were the odd man out either way.
Oh yeah, that's just terrible. That's just terrible. I'm not mad whoever got in. I'm just saying, like,
look, I don't like it either. I don't like it either, but I understand because even if Jordan Travis was healthy and they decided to put him in, Texas, if Texas was the odd man out, Texas would be the ones losing their minds right now because we beat Alabama, you know?
Yep.
So it's just it's also the
for everybody.
Hey, hold on, we had our time, Dev. We got to slide. Go ahead. No, you good. You good. Yeah. Hey, Drew, we want to say thank you for pulling up to the show, bro. It was awesome.
Sir. Of course.
W guys, fellas. I appreciate y'all being here like always. We'll see y'all.
Yeah, man. Shout out y'all boys, man.
Yes, sir. And with that being said, we'll see y'all at Open Field tomorrow.